Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Sean O'Connell Show on ESPN 792.1 FM. Very happy to be with you and get you ready for the weekend. A big one in Salt Lake City as Utah will be hosting Arizona State, Rice-Eccles Stadium, night game in the unpredictable weather of the high desert mountains here along the Wasatch Front. We're at the Home Expo today, the home show at Mountain America Credit Union. Which one is it called? Mountain America Expo Center. It's not Mountain America Credit Union. We're at the Expo Center. Don't go to the Credit Union. Go to the Expo Center, the old Southtown Expo Center down here in God's country, as I call it, Sandy, Utah, my old stomping grounds, right where I grew up. In fact, this building right here, where I'm sitting right now, this is where we had our high school graduation ceremony from nearby Jordan High. So if you want to come relive the glory days, come on down to the Home Expo. It's going to be a fun one. We're here for the next 3 hours. And if you're wondering where you find me, we're between aisle 4 and 500. You just have to close your eyes and listen for the guy yelling about Utah football. That's an easy way to find me. We're at the Advanced Window Products booth here in the heart of it all at the Utah Home Show here for the fall. I already took a little gander around as everyone is setting up their booths. Of course, the Advanced Windows booth is well set up. We've got a little bit of an advantage over the folks around us because, they're still getting organized. We're already organized. Lifetime warranty on the products, locally manufactured, locally installed, local sales team, local everything. 801-850-9100. That's how you get a hold of Advanced Windows. And a little bird has whispered to me that it's going to be the biggest discounts of the year, the best offers of the year from Advanced Window Products if you get on the schedule right now. 801-850-9100. Don't wait, because before you know it, the rain and the cold turns to snow and to freeze, and you want your windows dialed in before then. Fun show lined up for you, as we always aim for here on your home of the Utes, ESPN 700. Bill Riley's going to join us. We've got Coordinator's Corner. We're going to dive into the brain of Jason Beck, the Utah offensive coordinator, who I know we've talked about this before, but I think the point should be made over and over again. We discuss player performance so often, and of course that's the most obvious thing you can evaluate when you're watching college football. Did that guy execute? But something that is equally important, and probably in a lot of cases more important in college football, is do your coaches improve as the season progresses? You're expecting your players to do exactly that. And over the course of an offseason, over the course of spring football, and from week 1 to week 2, week 2 to week 3, and so on, are your coaches progressing? Jason Beck has impressed me immensely because he has, first of all, helped players establish and attain stated goals, right? These guys come into the season on the offensive side of the ball, and the same is true on the defensive side for Morgan Scalley and company, but we're talking offense right now. Jason Beck has done a wonderful job of getting players to pull on the same rope, right? They're all in making their efforts, pointing their efforts in the same direction. And the fact that each guy knows not only what the team needs, but how to make that happen through individual improvement, what numbers you need to hit, what technique you need to work on. He's just really good at getting guys to pay attention to their individual performance goals that contribute to the team goal, and he does the same thing himself. And this is really the most important point for coaches. At the front of it all is a coach calling these plays. And if he doesn't do his best, if he doesn't do a good job on any given Saturday, what happens? The players are not set up for success. Jason effectively acknowledged, along with Kyle Whittingham after the Texas Tech game, that the play calling needs to be adjusted in order to attack the middle of the field in the passing game a little bit more, in order to run downhill more. Don't try to get so lateral. And guess what happened? I know it's against different competition, But what we saw was him adjust his play calling against West Virginia. I anticipate the same will be continued against Arizona State. I think that you've got a coach who's willing to acknowledge his areas of weakness is probably too strong. His areas that need improvement, and then he goes out there and he works at it the same way he asks his players to work at it. So we'll jump in with Jason Beck on Coordinator's Corner today. Bill Riley's going to join us, as I mentioned. Brogan Houston to recap the Utah Mammoth first game of the season. Unfortunately, a loss, although not one that you need to panic about. The good news is Dylan Gunther is on pace for 82 goals, a goal a game. I know it's early, but I'm just going to anticipate that for Dylan Gunther. Sean O'Connell Show today and every day, by the way, is brought to you by our friends at Big Willie's. So as you're heading down here to the home show at the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy, Utah, right on State Street, maybe stop off 1717 South Main, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself some burgers, grab yourself anything off that craft food menu for over your lunch break. Watch a little recap of what happened with the Utah Mammoth. Maybe sit down, pop the earphones in, the AirPods, listen to the Sean O'Connell Show while you're munching down some tater tots, while you're having some sweet potato fries, while you're indulging in some of the delicious food they've got at Big Willie's. And then come on down and see us and take a gander at the window and sliding door and window covering opportunities afforded you by Advanced Window Products. Again, it's 801-850-9100. So the big news for this Utah-Arizona State game coming this weekend, and I know all of you have seen this already, as the injury reports, as unreliable as they are, as unpredictable as they are the bit of information we have to infer what might happen matchup-wise, to infer what might happen for your own team when it comes to, in Utah's case, the absence of Nate Ritchie, at least for this game, although I will hammer home the point, it is not a season-ending injury for Nate Ritchie. But Rabbit Evans and Nate Ritchie being out right at the top of that injury report sucks. Hunter Andrews being on that injury report is out, sucks, right? We know this. Sam Leavitt, Arizona State's also coming off a bye week. Sam Leavitt has been downgraded to doubtful, and if you pay attention, if you go on to the Arizona State, the Sun Devil report type stuff, there's a lot of pessimism. It doesn't seem like Sam Leavitt's going to be good to go in this Utah matchup at Rice-Eccles Stadium on Saturday night. Now, there's multiple reasons why that's important. It's important for Utah, obviously, because you're now facing a backup quarterback who is not as much of an unknown commodity as what you saw when Texas Tech's backup quarterback came in and hurt you. But get to know Jeff Sims. I tweeted out Jeff Sims highlight videos. He's a sixth-year senior. He's a sixth-year player. He had stops at Georgia Tech where he started multiple games. He went to Nebraska. This is his second year at Arizona State. He started the Cincinnati game for the Sun Devils last year, which ultimately was a loss on their Big 12 championship campaign. Jeff Sims is a big-body, athletic quarterback who has a lot of ability in the run game. Now, Sam Leavitt has run the ball plenty for Arizona State and will continue to do so when he gets healthy, and would have been running in this game had Sam Leavitt been available in this game, and I suppose we should treat it like maybe he will be. But now if you're Morgan Scalley, as you're trying to integrate a new safety, whoever that is, I think we're going to see Jackson Benny back there. I think. Everything I've heard is that Jackson is healthy enough to play right now, and I think that means they'll probably try to use him at that safety spot. I think. I've been digging, and I cannot definitively get an answer for you on who that's going to be. I'll ask Bill Riley when he comes on the show, because Bill usually gets a little bit more insight than we do, but I don't know how much he'll be able to share, even if he has it. In any case, I really think that for Morgan Scalley, throwing this wrinkle in, Oh, might be a backup quarterback who is not particularly fantastic in the passing game. He has a career completion percentage hovering at about 57. At Arizona State, where he's played in 4 games, he's only actually attempted 25 passes. That was last year. He hasn't thrown a pass so far this year for Arizona State. Last year, he was 13 of 25 for 168 yards and 0 touchdowns. You go back to the COVID season, which Kyle Whittingham tells us does not count. He was a 55% passer at Georgia Tech as a freshman. Of course, he was a freshman again in 2021, played 8 games, 113 for 188. That's 60%. He had 12 touchdowns. Here, I put the highlights out there, and I asked people, what stands out to you when you watch this guy? Well, I think there's probably a couple things that stand out to you. For me, one of the most important things, maybe the most important thing in watching this guy play, who I think Jeff Sims will be the starter, I think. 6'3", 210, good athlete, good runner, good instincts in the run game, willing to take a little bit of contact, which the coaches are probably trying to squeeze out of him right now because they don't want to have to go down to QB number 3. But if we're assuming that Jeff Sims is going to be playing in this game or probably even starting this game, he likes to try to force the ball into narrow windows. He has a lot of trust in his arm, and he's got a pretty big arm. He throws a nice spiral, and when he's on, he can put the ball into, kind of those NFL windows. He can throw the back shoulder fade route pretty accurately, but he's got more confidence than he has ability. He's got more belief in his arm than he should have in his arm. And maybe it's half arm, half decision-making, half arm, half accuracy, whatever. But this Jeff Sims guy has a certain instilled belief in his own aptitude in the passing game that I think is a little bit unrealistic. Now, that matters against Utah because if you're an experienced quarterback, you get these pictures, you get these windows where, okay, I know that I look off that safety. I get him to flip his hips the wrong way. I get to come back to my guy who now is on his opposite shoulder, and I'm safe there, right? If you're an experienced quarterback, you see the converging of a bracket coverage, and you say, that guy's moving at this velocity. That guy is running step for step with my wide receiver. If I'm going to complete this pass, I've got to put it up and over on an arc. That's where we can drop it in. And he'll just have to Willie Mays this thing, but we can get this thing done. Sims, on a lot of these throws, and go watch the highlight, right? On the highlight, they're only showing the good stuff that's happening. They're only showing the ones that are actually finding the receiver and that the receivers are catching and a lot of times running with. He is using arm strength. He is using velocity in almost every one of those cases to just force that ball in, right? Now, if you're an experienced quarterback, if you're a Scott Mitchell who's taken 1,000 snaps and you can kind of get away with it even if it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to because you know you're going to have another start or you're going to have another quarter or whatever, you could probably get away with some of this stuff. I don't know how a guy of this caliber continues to have that level of confidence in his velocity, his spiral, his accuracy when – here's the number that matters most to me, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the big one, at least in my opinion. He has thrown 30 touchdowns and 23 interceptions as a real everyday type of quarterback. That was when he was at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech wanted to use him, was trying to develop him, trying to make him be the starter. Georgia Tech was like, you're our guy. 30 touchdowns, 23 interceptions. Now, to be fair to Jeff Sims, he was a young player at that time. So maybe you give a little bit of grace to his underperformance freshman, sophomore years at Georgia Tech. Then he transfers to Nebraska, okay? He plays 5 games at Nebraska. You'll find the highlights at Nebraska. At Nebraska, someone was coaching him and saying, dude, sling that rock. Throw that ball. If you see somebody wearing red, if you see a sliver of Huskers jersey, I want you to fire up that 100-mile-an-hour fastball and get that ball there. He was trying to force every ball into every situation at Nebraska. In those 5 games, he completed almost 60% of his passes, but he threw 6 interceptions against 1 touchdown. He was a turnover machine. Arizona State has not wanted to use his arm all that much. That's why in 4 games in 2024, he only threw 25 passes. I am not a math whiz, but I know that that is not a normal level of production or even attempts for a passing quarterback in 4 games. 25 is 1 game. 25 is 1 game when you've got a dual threat quarterback. 4 games and 25. Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham, is not going to want this guy to throw the ball all that often. But guess what? When you're going against a Morgan Scalley defense, and you're just saying, all right, well, we have Raleek Brown, who is right now the best running back in the conference. And we have now this dual threat quarterback who is more of a running quarterback than he is a dual threat. What do you think Morgan Scalley's going to do? All right, beat us with your arm, Jeff Sims. You were going to do that to some extent, and you will if Sam Leavitt trots out there. He's been downgraded on the injury report to doubtful, okay? He started as questionable on Wednesday. He's been downgraded to doubtful on Thursday. On Friday, we'll see.
OC, question for you because
hey James.
Hey, I'm here. Yeah. Question for you because as I was looking up the availability report that came out last night. I saw a fair number of Utes fans going, well, he's talking so much smack on social media. There's no way, even though he's been downgraded to doubtful, there's no way Sam Leavitt is not playing. Do you put any stock into that a lot of Utes fans on Twitter are putting into it?
No, look, I think that you have to allow for the possibility that Sam Leavitt will still play in this game, but doubtful is, I mean, we know the definition of the word doubtful, right? Like, Kenny Dillingham.
It's not very likely is what doubtful means, right? Like it.
Doubtful. Adjective. Feeling uncertain or skeptical about something, according to dictionary.com. Number 2 definition. Not known with certainty. The fire was of doubtful origin. Here's Sam Leavitt.
I love the dictionary radio.
He's been downgraded to doubtful. The funniest thing possible, the best thing possible, would be if Kenny Dillingham, who has expressed his admiration for Kyle Whittingham in the past, if Dillingham was just like, you know what Kyle likes to do? He likes to fudge injury reports. He likes to be unclear about what's going on with player availability. I'm going to do the same thing against the Utes. That would be the funniest, most spectacular thing ever if he willingly decided that I'm going to throw a wrinkle in this preparation. I don't like the fact that I have to scheme against Morgan Scalley because he's really good. So I'm going to give Morgan Scalley a little something extra to prepare for, and he's now going to have his Leavitt game plan, his Jeff Sims game plan, his third-string quarterback game plan, his we're running Wildcat every day or every play game plan. I guess if you're fully on like the Utah Reddit conspiracy theory, don't believe anything. And by the way, your own head coach has cultivated that kind of atmosphere in college football. Fine. I'm taking this as Sam Leavitt, if he plays, is not going to be the best version of himself. And there has to be some calculus now when you're a head coach, and you're a head coach of a good team especially, right? I'm going into one of the tougher environments we're going to face. It might be a sloppy game where the water, the precipitation, the inclement sort of conditions create a situation where the passing game is less of a factor on Saturday night than in a typical Saturday. So, again, this is all hypotheses, okay? Maybe in a game like this, it's better to bring in the guy who is less prepared for and relies less on his arm talent, and I don't have to wonder, hey, am I going to be able to run this route? Am I going to be able to call this play? Is this route package going to work? What are the field conditions going to say? How slippery is that ball going to be? All of it against the backdrop of, James, what happens when you have your starting quarterback, you put him out there, and he is not himself? We saw this against Arizona State last year down in the Valley of Sun, down at Tempe. Cam Rising, long-awaited, highly anticipated. He's back. Everything's going to be fine. The savior of the Utah football program, 2.0. He already saved us once. Let's see what happens. And then he couldn't step into his throws. He wasn't himself. Devin Dampier against Texas Tech. Not quite on the same level, but still compromised, right? And what does it look like when your starting quarterback is not actually himself? Well, now you're going into a situation with the deck stacked against you somewhat. Do I think that Kenny Dillingham is fudging injury reports to try to trick Morgan Scalley into preparing for a different guy instead of Sam Levitt? I won't take it that far. If there's a little gamesmanship happening, fine. But at the end of the day, this Utah defense is going to have to go, whether it's Levitt at 80% or it's Jeff Sims at 100%, you're going to have to go against the guy who is willing to pull the ball down, get out of the pocket, hurt you with his legs. In the case of Sims, there's less fear that he's also going to attack with his arm. I want it to be Sims. I think Utah fans want it to be Sims, but I heard Scott Mitchell talking about this as I was driving down to the home show at the Mountain America Expo Center. We saw what happens when a backup comes in and it has, like, it's a different little spark. It's a different sort of vibe.
Yeah, I'd say careful what you wish for after what Tim Hammond did. It's Tim Hammond, right? Yeah. What Hammond did against you a couple weeks ago in the last home game. Like, just be careful what you wish for if you're wishing for the backup quarterback. Now, obviously, that being said, there's a reason why a guy's a backup. You'd rather face that guy than the guy who's been the starter all year.
Especially when when a guy's in his sixth year in college football and he's still a backup.
Yeah, I mean there's
something going on there, and I'll tell you.
There's reasons for that,
and we've seen the reasons. The reasons are lack of accuracy in the throwing game and a propensity to throw the ball to the wrong team. Sims is probably an equal to or better runner even than Levitt, and Levitt's a pretty good runner. From an athletic standpoint, they're very comparable.
Levitt's the willing scrambler, right? When it's the right play, it sounds like Sims is a lot less willing.
You can design runs for Levitt. He's good enough to do that. He's, running at about 5 yards a clip. Sims has been in that realm in his career in the past. His second year as a starter at Georgia Tech, he was a 5 yards per carry kind of guy. In the spot duty he's played in for Arizona State this year, he's been proficient in running the ball. He's got 13 rushing touchdowns, but it's a different animal because he just isn't as much of a threat in the passing game. Is he enough of a threat in the passing game for Kenny Dillingham to say, if Sam Levitt is at 60%, which is probably where you're at when you're talking about doubtful, is that better than Sims? I don't know how you look at Raleek Brown and Jordan Tyson and say, I'm going to trot out a quarterback who's at 60 or 70%.
Yeah.
And by the way, Utah's going to smash him. And then in the next game, he's at 50%, so we can't play him. And in the next game, he's at 40%, so we can't play him. You also have to
inclement weather.
Well, yeah, and the weather does matter.
Potentially inclement weather, that makes your 60% quarterback a little less effective potentially.
Potentially. All right, before we get to Bill Riley, we're down here at the Mountain America Expo Center, God's Country Sandy, right next to Jordan High School, where, of course, I am a living legend. This was where This is where we graduated. This is my graduation ceremony was in this very building right now. I'm having flashbacks. It is absolutely wonderful. Nate Orchard is sitting down laughing right now. He, of course, is one of the owners of Advanced Window Products, the mayor of Sac Lake City. Jake, also his business partner, and probably, maybe still friends at this point. They've been working together long enough where you never know.
Kind of friends.
Kind of friends? Oh, we got where's Nate's mic? Which one's Nate? Okay, here we go.
Great friends. You kidding me? Great friends.
Can we, before we get into the best deal of the year that I know you're going to offer our listeners today, guys, you probably know I'm not a card-carrying member of the LDS Church, but I happen to be watching General Conference this weekend, and the Advanced Window Products television commercial. I did not know that I was in the presence of such great actors anytime that I see you guys around.
It came together, right?
It looked really good.
It looked good.
Who scripted that thing? That was wonderful. That was like a high-quality production.
That's what we were going for. We wanted something that stand out a little bit and kind of, hey, it's not just like the local small business. Like that represents what we do as a company.
A lot of times when you get those local ads, it's just, the owner standing there saying, I don't know what to do with my hands. Hello.
Yeah.
Our phone number is 801-850-9100. We like to help you. Please call us. You guys, it was like there was some production value here. There was some script. I loved it. I was yelling at the TV. We're watching with my wife. I know those guys. I'm friends with those guys.
The spirit was strong, huh? You felt the spirit was strong. I'll tell you what. Come on, OC. Let's go. Let's go.
We got into a conversation about why are they advertising on General Conference? Like what's going on? Anyway,
that's Super Bowl Sunday, baby.
That's it. Basically, it's twice a year.
Twice a year.
we get 2 Super Bowls a year.
All right, let's be serious for a second. Biggest offer of the year, and it's happening right now from Advanced Window Products.
You know the name of the offer.
What is the name of the offer?
The Nate Orchard Hall of Fame Special.
Wow.
You like that? That has a nice ring to it.
I would think that Nate might maybe bust out something. You're going to personally install all of the windows that are sold during the Hall of Fame special or something. Yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have yet to talk about it's a massive honor. You're going in not as a member of a team. You're going in as Nate Orchard, single-season sack record, mayor of Sac Lake City, one of the best to ever do it at your alma mater. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, it's definitely just a reality check, right? I mean, never did I ever think that, just looking at my upbringing, all that I've been through, and, have an opportunity at such an amazing university. Coach Witt to move me from defensive end or from receiver to defensive end, right, to make that change my freshman year, and the outcome that I had my senior year, and the impact that it still has till this day. It's a huge honor.
I mean, you're still the guy that I on my show all the time, we use as the example of how top-level players have to perform against top-level players. You versus Andres Pete, and I know you know this, but you versus Andres Pete that year was like projected first-round draft pick maybe, top sack man versus top tackle, and it was like, all right, what happens when our best goes against your best? And in that case, our best won. Our best won that matchup, and I still use that as an example, and we used it Texas Tech week. I'm using it again Arizona State week. Like, that team has stars. You have a star whose stars are going to cancel each other out, who are going to be better. Man, legendary.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I just felt, again, we led the country in sacks. That's something I'm even more proud about as a team, defensively, collectively. And that game specifically, knowing I was going against Andres Pete, his caliber, the amount of attention that was around him, the scouts and people that were going to be there, and the messages were just to the guys, man, let's go eat, right? This is what we do. This is Utah defense. We don't play, and if they're going to put this guy on a pedestal, let's make sure to knock him down and make sure they all feel it, right? So it's just a mentality,
game, right? Was it 4?
Yeah, 3 or 4 that game. But I look at the other guys and what they had that game too, right? The stunts we were doing up front, the games we were playing with them, because they would overload to my side after he couldn't handle me for so long, and it was just fun.
If you're out there listening right now and you're like, who's Andres Pete? Who are they talking about? Stanford offensive tackle that, look, it's great to go tell your teammates, hey, let's go knock this guy off the pedestal, let's go eat. Easier said than done. That's a 6'7", 315-pound athlete, and Nate Orchard made him look silly that day, and that's why he's going into the Hall of Fame, baby. All right, let's talk windows, fellas. Best offer of the year, the Nate Orchard Hall of Fame offer, is $3,500 off 10 windows or more. Is that correct?
You got it. $3,500 off 10 or more windows, but you have to call today. We're here at the home show. We've got the ceremony dinner tonight for Nate. And then tomorrow's going to be at the game. But you got to call today to unlock those savings of $3,500.
801-850-9100. That's the number. And I know I've told you about this before. Factory direct replacement windows right here from your own backyard, which means the sales process, low pressure, the installation, efficient. If there is a problem, which is unlikely, you don't have to jump through all these hoops with the middlemen. They're going to show up, they're going to take care of it, and they're going to guarantee these windows for the life of your home.
Yep, the peace of mind at a price that can't be beat, right? And been around for 40 years. We want to save you money, make your home more energy efficient, and ultimately just beautify, change the aesthetic and just improve that curb appeal of your home and something you can be proud about for years to come.
Come down to the home show or call the number 801-850-9100. These guys are going to be hanging out all day. Bill Riley's going to join us next. You're listening to the Sean O'Connell Show on your home of the Utes, ESPN 700, 91 FM. Time to check in with the voice of the Utes on a Friday. Bill Riley will be calling Utah versus Arizona State at Rice-Eccles Stadium. And he joins us now to talk about the game and all things happening in the Big 12 Conference and with Utah Athletics. Bill Riley, how are you, sir?
Hello, Sean.
We're down here in God's country, Sandy, Utah, at the Mountain America Expo Center for the home show, Advanced Window Products, who I know you enjoy down here, hooking us up. We'll get to some of that stuff in here in a second, but the big news that we started the show with and we've been talking about, the starting quarterback for Arizona State, Sam Leavitt, has been downgraded on the injury report to doubtful. Now, I don't know if we're fully aware how much we should be trusting these injury reports just yet, but it's news one way or another. How do you evaluate it? Do you think we're going to see Leavitt at all, or is it a Jeff Sims type of day at Rice-Eccles?
I don't think you're going to see him. Kenny Dillingham went on a radio show in Phoenix this morning and said it would take a mini miracle for him to play. And he also said he's been battling some things for the last couple of weeks. It sounds like it's a lower leg, maybe an ankle type thing that he's been dealing with. So what you need to look at is the guys in Vegas moved the line about 5 points last night in about 45 minutes. So they generally know things others don't know. Based on that news, I would be surprised if we saw Sam Leavitt. Now, he's a tough kid and a competitor. Maybe he tries to go. But my expectation, based on the report and what Pete Thamel put out last night, was that we'll probably see Jeff Sims tomorrow.
How much does that change the playbook, the dynamic of this Arizona State offense? I mean, we've seen plenty of Sims. He's in his 6th year. Georgia Tech highlights, Nebraska highlights. More of those were lowlights. He started a game for Arizona State last year. And, he's got some ability, but there are some flaws in his game as well. So how much do you think that changes Arizona State's capabilities on offense?
Well, it changes it completely. I mean, Sam Leavitt, it was preseason all Big 12 quarterback. He's being talked about as an NFL, probably second-day draft pick. Jeff Sims is in his 6th year at 3 different schools with an 8-18 record as a starter. And I'm not saying he's not a capable player. He's won some games for Georgia Tech and pretty much Georgia Tech. He didn't win any games for Nebraska or Arizona State. But I don't think it's the same dynamic. Sam Leavitt is the unquestioned leader and the heart and soul of that team too. Where Scadaboo was that guy last year, it's Leavitt this year. If you watch Arizona State play, he's the guy. To put it in Utah terms, he's the Cam Rising of what Arizona State does. He's not just the guy that's really talented at quarterback. He's the fiery leader. He's the guy that they follow. So not having him, if he doesn't play tomorrow night, not having him is a huge deal for Arizona State.
So Sims is particularly adept. If there's a strength in his game, it's in running the football. It's in being that dual threat quarterback whose dual threats are actually probably like 60-40 in favor of the run. He has some athleticism. He's got a decently big body. Those types of quarterbacks have caused Utah problems in the past. I think we saw some problems with it against Texas Tech because you hadn't prepared for that version of a quarterback necessarily. With time to prepare, with a little bit of advance notice, is Sims enough a threat in the running game that Utah really has to over-index or really has to make massive adjustments?
Well, I think that might be the game plan tomorrow night anyway. The weather's going to be lousy tomorrow night. It's going to be windy. It's going to be wet. It's going to be nasty tomorrow night, at least for the first half of the football game. They've got a really good running attack. Raleek Brown leads the league in rushing. Kanye Udo was an 1,100-yard rusher at Army last year. They've got 2 good running backs, and Jeff Sims is 6'4" and 220. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if they almost went to a triple option rush attack using the quarterback as a runner, plus Raleek Brown, plus Kanye Udo, and mixing in some pass here and there. Because Sims has that ability to run. He ran for almost 500 yards as a freshman at Georgia Tech. He ran for another 400 in his sophomore year. He can run the football, and he's a big body too. So I would be very surprised if they expect Jeff Sims to drop back 40 times or 30 or 35 times against Utah on Saturday night. So I think you probably utilize his athleticism, his ability to run in conjunction with Raleek Brown and Kanye Udo.
The biggest question I've had since Monday, basically, was what are you going to do at that second safety spot? Teo Johnson and who? Because Nate Ritchie is going to be out for an extended period of time, although we're relieved it's not a season-ending injury. And he hasn't played perfectly this year, but he's always in the right spot. So what do you think the solution is at that second safety position?
Well, it's you're hoping Jackson Benny can play, and I know early in the week there was some hope that he'd be ready to play this weekend. Now I wasn't over there yesterday, so I don't know, but I know there was hope that Benny could play. If Jackson Benny plays, you're fine, because Jackson Benny is equally adept at corner as he is at safety. In fact, he began as a safety last fall and this spring too. So I think if Jackson plays, you're okay. Nate, if it ends up being the freshman Tillman, I think you probably see him playing down in the box a little bit more and having Teo Johnson playing kind of center field, because Tillman, they love him. I mean, he's a four-star kid. He's got a bright future, but he's a true freshman, and he's a true freshman that hasn't gotten a lot of reps because Nate Ritchie was there and Jackson Benny was there and Teo Johnson and Rabbit Evans. So he's just a guy that's talented but very inexperienced. So I would say if he's on the field, you probably keep him a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage and probably have Teo Johnson play a little bit more center field. But I think the best-case scenario is if Jackson Benny can play, then Jackson Benny's at safety, and then you're fine.
Jackson Benny's role on the offense. I mean, we talked about Smith Snowden. We talked about Lander Barton in the preseason. And then Jackson Benny has been awesome on both sides of the ball as well. Now that we're talking about a little bit of injury attrition, now that we're talking about the bumps and bruises starting to come into play for this Utah football team, is it more likely we see less of Jackson Benny or Smith or Lander on offense, or because those bumps are happening on the offensive side as well, that you ride whatever hot hand you can find, and it's more reps for the two-way players on both sides?
I would think, and again, this is just my hypothesis, I would think that this week, if Jackson Benny's able to play, you're just leaving him in defensively. You're not going to stress that, especially because he got hurt on and off of a weird play. It was a non-contact play, but he kind of rolled his ankle, I think it was, on a non-contact play as a wide receiver. But I don't think you're going to lessen the role of Barton or Smith Snowden at all, because, again, to be fair, Sean, they haven't played a huge role offensively. They've been in for snaps, but it's not like they've been out there for 40 or 50 snaps offensively. They've been out there for 15 or 20 snaps offensively. So I still think, even with a big game where you need them defensively, I still think they're fine. I just think you probably lessen Jackson's snaps over there just simply because you want to lessen the ability for him to re-injure whatever that injury was.
Ryan Davis has emerged as a very reliable threat. Dallin Bentley, I think, is making a push to be in the conversation as an all-conference tight end potentially. And we've seen a little bit of Larry getting involved, Tobias Merriweather. We keep asking, is this the week? Is this the week? Is this the week? Is it realistic now that we're heading into week 6, and we're coming off a bye week where some development can happen and some things can be worked on when it comes to specifics? Is this Utah offense, with respect to the pass catchers, kind of what it's going to be, or can there still be significant growth, either from an individual player or somebody that we haven't seen yet? Is the passing game that we have seen what the passing game is going to be for Utah the rest of the way?
No, I think there could be growth because there hasn't been much there. I think Tobias Merriweather has like 3 catches and Larry Sims has like 3 catches. If you sit upstairs like I do and like you do sometimes too, these guys are open. You know, it's just been a matter of getting to that progression to get them the ball. They've taken some chances down there too. Now, I don't think that you're going to see anybody emerge that we haven't seen yet. I don't think there's somebody that's on the practice, on the scout team or a guy that's buried on the depth chart that's going to emerge. But I absolutely think we can see more out of Tobias Merriweather because of his speed, and Larry Simmons as well. Ryan Davis has been a favorite target, one, because a lot of what Utah's looked at has been, within about 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, and he's got a year playing with Devin Dampier, so they're very comfortable with one another. Got to remember, too, Simmons and Tobias Merriweather weren't here in the spring. They didn't join till summertime, so they're not as far along as some of the guys that were there in the spring, too. But I think J.J. Buchanan's a guy whose role could expand quite a bit. I think he's a guy that you could see more in the offense moving forward. And It wouldn't surprise me, too, if Lander Barton caught a few more passes, too. I think that they like what he does a lot, but they just haven't gotten there. So I think there's a room to expand roles that have already existed, but I would be really surprised if somebody just burst on the scene.
Voice of the Utes, Bill Riley, is our guest here, brought to you by Handy and Handy. We'll talk to Bill for a couple more minutes before we cut him loose. The importance of a game like this, must win, is overused and too much of a cliche. The Texas Tech game was more of like an obvious, hey, big noon kickoff, national spotlight, top team and top team squaring off. And you knew that game was a huge game, and, everybody kind of underperformed. And I say everybody because I don't think that anyone, coaches, players, et cetera, were at their best on a day like that. This game is of equal importance in my mind, or nearly equal importance in my mind, and I now have the question, how do you get these guys to be the best version of themselves in a big game like this one? How do you do that?
Well, I mean, if you can't be the best version of yourself, but Utah's relatively healthy now for a team heading into its sixth game. You're coming off a bye week. You got your get-right game against West Virginia. You're playing at home at night. If you can't be the best version of yourself in a game like this against a good opponent, then I don't know when that happens, Sean. I'm not saying everything's going to go perfect. I'm not going to tell you they're going to go out and roll past Arizona State. But if you're not right in the mind and you're not right physically and not ready to play in this game, I just don't know what to say at this point in time because you've got everything on your side. I know ASU's had the bye week too, but they've got more injuries than Utah does, and they're having to come on the road to play in elements. So I think that if you're not at your best heading into the game, what happens in the game, you never know. It's life's great reality show. There's no script to it. But I think that this is, you can say it's on coaches, but I think the coaches have had a pretty good formula over the years. This is where sometimes the players have to bear that responsibility and be ready to play. But I think that Texas Tech game was a little bit of an eye-opener for them because they were tested against a really good team, and they didn't pass that test. Texas Tech passed that test, and Utah got a sample of what it takes to be the best team in the league. That's Texas Tech. Now, Texas Tech is not 3 touchdowns better than Utah. We know that. They're better than Utah. They won that game, but that was a game for 3 quarters, and Utah they beat themselves in that fourth quarter, and fatigue got them a little bit too. But I think they got a taste of what it's going to take to be among the best 2 or 3 teams in the league, and I don't think it's that far removed to have forgotten that too. So my thought is tomorrow night game, Rice, Eccles, big opponent, the whole thing. I think we see Utah's best performance of the year tomorrow night.
The rubber's meeting the road now that you're getting into the meat of conference play for a lot of these teams. And right now, there's like 11 squads in the conversation that could emerge to be conference championship contenders. Obviously, all 11 are not going to stay in that conversation. Right now, who are you a believer in most?
Texas Tech. I think that they are. I think they're in their own tier.
Yeah, I
think there's a tier. I think there's a tier below them that includes probably TCU. I don't know if you watched that game too. I thought that they got hosed in that ASU game. There were some calls down the stretch that were bad misses that may have cost TCU that game. I think TCU's in that conversation. I think BYU's in that conversation. I think Utah's in that conversation. I think Cincinnati has put themselves in that conversation too with what they did to Iowa State. But I'm not going to rule Iowa State out either because I still think they're in the conversation as well. So I think that's I think there's a single one tier, and that's Texas Tech. And I think there's about 5 or 6 teams in that second tier, but that second tier could change a lot this weekend too.
Bill, tell me what you got going on with Handy and Handy right now. I know them, you know them. Big firm, experience, small firm attention. They're great for our listeners.
Well, thankfully, I don't have anything going on right now with Handy and Handy because I haven't been into a car accident and haven't been hurt on the job. And I'm thankful for that. But if that day ever comes, and that day might, we all know life happens, You want people on your side that know what they're doing and know how to defend you, your loved ones, your reputation, all of that. And Handy have been doing it, and they've got over 40 years of courtroom experience between Preston and Garrett, and they're fantastic. They're good guys. They've been partners of ESPN 700 for years, a huge University of Utah fans, and they treat you the right way, and you are important to them. You're not just a number. They're not churning you through like some personal injury attorneys do. You get one-on-one personal service with Handy, and you really need that because, when you've been in an accident or somebody you love or has been or been hurt, you want somebody that's going to be there for you, and that's what Handy will do. You can find them online at handylawutah.com.
You're the man, Bill. Have a great call. See you on Saturday.
I know you'll be in the booth because you don't like to get wet, so I'll see you tomorrow.
Bill knows me well. I like to raid the booth, stand behind, go up there with Alonzo on the second deck, heckle, just a mild heckling of Bill and Scott and the front row guys, and then, steal whatever food they have in the booth.
Just a little, that's the call you're going to go with. Okay. That kind of heckling?
Well, like when he goes to a commercial after a big, takes the headset off, just be like, that's not what I saw. And he's like, what? What do you mean? Are you sure? Are you sure that was Teo Johnson? Just plant little seeds of doubt.
He did. To be fair, it was a fantastic call otherwise, but he did say Dallin Bentley caught the J.J. Buchanan touchdown in the moment. So maybe you're getting into his head.
Don't do that. Like
maybe you're getting in his head.
That's James. That's James Peterson being a full-on hater. All right.
Love you, Bill.
Got to take a quick one here. We'll talk more about the offers going on at Advanced Window Products. And we've got some Adam Sandler tickets to give away on the Sean O'Connell Show, ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Sean O'Connell Show, ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. We're at the Home Expo, American First Credit Union, or the Mountain America Expo Center. That's where we're at. Adam Sandler is coming to Delta Center October 26th. Tickets are on sale right now. We have a pair of tickets to give away right now, actually. I love this. James, shout out to James for the hilarious tribute question. The Happy Gilmore villains have been iconic. Well, Happy Gilmore 2, who was the actor that played the rival golfer on the Maxi Golf Tour in Happy Gilmore 2? If you spent some time on Netflix watching Happy Gilmore 2, there was a guy who, he made his appearance as the villain. Which actor was that? 877-353-0700. We're sitting down with Advanced Window Products. In fact, we're broadcasting in the Advanced Window Products booth, 801-850-9100. $3,500 off 10 windows or more if you get on the schedule right now. Make a phone call. Get on the schedule because the discount is an extra $1,000 today. 801-850-9100. The mayor of Sac Lake City, his business partner, Jake Weber, both sitting down with us right now. Nate Orchard. One of the times we talked, right, you were geeking out on everything that makes these windows better than the competition. It's not just the vinyl, it's the gas between the window panes, and you're always seeking ways to improve the product, to stay at the cutting edge. What's been the latest quest, the latest side quest in making sure Advanced Window Products are the best replacement windows out there?
We have our engineer from DeKunik, who we get our vinyl from here right now. We had our guys from Cardinal, where we get our glass from, right? They're in town visiting. So it's just sitting down with them, picking their brains. What is the latest and greatest in the industry that they're seeing? And they've thrown a few things out there that I don't want to say yet and get people too excited, but there's some exciting things coming when it comes to just glass. But on the vinyl side, I mean, it's the best in the market, right? A lot of things to be mindful of is just, the fading, discoloration, and they make sure that, the levels of titanium dioxide that's inside the vinyl just to keep it from doing that. And, the sturdiness of it, all the things. I mean, I sit down with these guys and we just geek out. And just to think, not too long ago I'm looking at a playbook and trying to learn over 100 plays to now just looking at a window and how to dissect it every which way just to make sure it holds up to the elements, that it meets customer standards, and it's something at the end of the day they can be proud about when they have in their homes, right? And we're not perfect by any means, but that's where, again, our lifetime warranty comes into place, right? If anything does come up, we're there to fix it. We'll come up with a solution, and we take full accountability every step of the way.
That couldn't have gone any better. I just wanted to get him to say titanium dioxide.
Got it. We got it.
We think about Nate Orchard, this nightmare for opposing quarterbacks, this meathead. That's not what you got, all right? Attention to detail. He is now a window nerd. And Jake,
yeah. Look. Speaking to that is like Nate on a daily basis is in the shop trying to fine tune our process. And you listen to him talk about when he was playing in the NFL, playing in college, like that, breaking down film and kind of fine tuning all of his footwork, his hands. And he now does the same thing with windows. And it's like he's in there just like looking at every little detail. And we're trying to, in the end, our goal is to manufacture and install the best window in the market and to transform homes. And that's our goal, and that's what we're striving to do every single day.
Well, the beauty of it, the beauty of that, and the beauty of what you guys are doing, right? When you set up the lofty expectation of the reputation you got, right, you have to meet that reputation every day. And when you have guaranteed these windows, it better be a good product, not only for the consumer, but for you. Because it can get nasty real fast if you're like, hey, anything goes wrong, we'll replace those windows. I mean, there's a math equation that has to make sense for everybody here. And for you guys to be able to make those promises and to remain profitable, it's a delicate balance, but it's something that speaks to the level of attention you are paying from the process of the bids to the installation, the manufacturing that you do right here in-house. It all has to come together, and it's something that, I don't know, it's really fascinating when you get down to it because It's not easy to have a successful business. It's especially not easy to have a successful business if you care about your customers, and you guys have found a way to do both.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's and to compare it to football, right? You got special teams, offense, defense. You got a strength staff. You got people that hold and play a huge role in allowing this ship to move forward, to have the success. And, to me, and we say every day is game day, right? Our installers come to load up their windows as it gets game day, right? They're going out to transform somebody's home. And before those windows even leave, there are multiple steps in the process in order for us to get there. And, again, I just go back to football. Jake and I both played. He unfortunately played at BYU, but it's like, hey, they taught him something there. I know that. But at the end of the day, football is a game of inches. Everything matters, right? Every detail that you put into it, from the way they write their contracts to the way we speak to the homeowners on the phone, the experience we give them is what we want to make it a memorable one. And so just feel very fortunate to be a part of a company that, we're just trying to make a difference in everybody's lives.
801-850-9100, $3,500 off, 10 windows or more. What's our time right now? 5-6 weeks from a bid to installation?
Right now, October, we're at like our peak season.
Okay.
People want those windows before it gets cold.
Sure.
We're about 8 weeks right now.
All right, 8 weeks. So don't wait. Get on the schedule today. Perfect time, perfect reason. An extra $1,000 off on the Nate Orchard Hall of Fame induction discount, because that's the guy going in to the Utah Athletics, the Utah Football Hall of Fame. Star's going in, too. Have you talked to Star about it?
Yeah, I was with Star yesterday. We pre-recorded our speeches for tonight, and hadn't seen him since Buffalo, so I hadn't seen him in a while when he and I were there together. But, yeah, he's just the same old Star, man, just a big teddy bear. Looks like he's going to hurt you, but he'll hit you with a smile every now and then, so he's doing good.
All right, we'll be talking more advanced window products as the show progresses. We'll take a quick break here. We come back to talk Utah Mammoth. Brogan Houston is going to join us. A 2-1 loss to open the season on the road. What does it mean for this Utah Mammoth squad that we think is going to make the playoffs this year? We're just getting started on the Sean O'Connell Show, ESPN 700, 92.1 FM, proud part of Utah's ESPN Radio Network. Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 792 FM. We're at the home show down in Sandy, right on State Street, Mountain America Expo Center. Come hang out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. ESPN 700 is at the Advanced Window Products booth. They've got great deals going on, best deals of the year, in fact. You got to get on the schedule now for $3,500 off 10 windows or more. In honor of the Hall of Fame induction of Nate Orchard, they're giving you a Hall of Fame discount. $3,500 off 10 windows or more, 801-850-9100. We check in on the Utah Mammoth, who just started their season on the road, a 2-1 loss against Colorado. Brogan Houston, Mammoth insider from the Deseret News, joins us. Brogan, welcome back to the show. How are you, sir?
Doing so well. How are you guys?
We're doing awesome. Glad that Mammoth hockey is back. Obviously, everyone wanted to start the season with a victory, but tell me the takeaways you have from this brief four-way. We're only one game into a very long season. Game one takeaways from the loss to the Avs.
Yeah, this was a close game that ended up being one mistake as the difference. So there was no clear one team that was better than the other. Like, they both had equal amount of chances, give or take, and equal amount of really good chances, I'll give them that. And both goalies at both ends were spectacular, and those are both goalies that are really trying to solidify themselves as number ones in the NHL. And they both did a great job, and I thought Utah did a really good job of holding up against a true Stanley Cup contending team.
That's one point that I don't think we make enough on the show. At least I haven't yet. That going up against a Colorado team, and you're going to see Winnipeg in divisional play. I mean, there's like 3 Stanley Cup contenders in your division. You're trying to get over the hump and become a playoff team this year in the NHL, and you're doing it in, I think, the toughest division in hockey. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so right now. There's, Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado, and then those wild card spots too. Like, you still got St. Louis and Minnesota that are right there. So, yeah, there's no easiness there, that's for sure.
So, Logan Cooley recently turned down the $9.6 million per year contract extension, and he's out on the ice. He's playing. No surprise to anyone. There's plenty of time to get an extension done. How much does his play this season, as these conversations are happening, factor into the business side of things? To the if he wants more than 9.6, are we willing to put him in that $10-11 million per year average value category? You're watching it all play out in real time. If he's productive, and I mean, they already like him, so can he kind of force the issue with stellar play in these first 20 games or so?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. He's already proven that he's about that 9.6 caliber player, give or take a few $100,000. But now what he's trying to do is show that he is worth more than that. And so if he can go out and have a really good season, say 80, 90, 100 points, somewhere in there, then that's when he's going to show, like, oh, hey, like, pay me Jack Eichel money or something around that contract. Maybe it's the Kyle Connor contract or right around there. But I think that's probably what his camp is more or less pushing for. And I think that's kind of the caliber of player that he wants to become is kind of one of those really good 1Cs. And if he can prove that this year, then I'm sure the team will have no issue paying him that. But if he goes out and has a 60-point season, then maybe that offer, stays about where it was, at this point in the year.
Well, the beauty of that situation that you just touched on, it's a great problem to have if you got to pay a guy because he played so well that he now belongs in that conversation with the other names that you mentioned, right? I mean, it feels like these are amicable conversations right now. These are amicable negotiations right now. So I think we get a resolution. And for Mammoth fans and for this franchise, weirdly, you kind of want to have to pay him more in a way.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a good problem to have.
Who's going to be the points leader on the team this year, right? I mean, you've got Dylan Gunther, who we hope stays healthy through the entire year, Clayton Keller, who is obviously the scoring leader last year and the points leader last year. But some of these young guys are kind of hoping to catch up and maybe pass him. Who do you think? You got J.J. Peterka, who you added, who can be in that equation as well. So who do you think is going to be the points leader for this team in 2025, 2026?
Yeah, it's hard not to say Clayton Keller, but like you said, there's so many of those young guys that are kind of pushing for that I guess, to get to that level in their games. And so, yeah, it could be J.J. Peterka, it could be Logan Cooley, it could be Dylan Gunther. And that's, again, a good problem to have, that you have at least 4 guys that are really pushing for that team scoring title. But Clayton Keller was a top 10 scorer in the NHL last year, so it's really hard to bet against him, I guess. But, there's so many that really could take it, that it's anybody's game at this point.
I jokingly said that the silver lining in a loss, Dylan Gunther's on pace for 82 goals this year, now that he got one in the opening game. Obviously, that's not how the math is going to work on this thing. But as a sniper, as a goal scorer, a beautiful one-timer last night. Is Dylan Gunther the best pure goal scorer on the team?
Oh, there's no question about that. That is absolutely true. I think by the time that he really establishes himself as a really good player, I think that's at that point he will be one of the best goal scorers in the league. Bill Armstrong famously told TJ Ginla when he drafted him that they have enough 20 goal scorers and now they need a 50 goal scorer. And I think that he said that before he realized that Dylan Gunther could be his 50 goal scorer. And I think that is only a matter of time until that happens.
Well, fingers crossed that we get that kind of development, and hopefully it happens sooner than later. It's been a while since we had a good conversation about this Mammoth team. In the off season, there was like Caleb Desnoyers came off of the draft and was talking about, I want to be an NHL player right away. And you heard Simishev and Boot making the same kind of claims and hoping that they could get on. And Simishev's on the day one roster. Daniil Boot is going to spend some more time in development. Were any of the roster decisions when we got the release just a few days ago, were any of those surprises to you?
The one that kind of surprised me was Andrew Agozzino. He made the team out of camp. But he's a veteran guy, and they just needed somebody to fill a spot and somebody that could play a few different roles. And, he played his 52nd career NHL game last night over a span of about 15 years. So he's a career journeyman, I guess is the way to say it. And he's proven that he can kind of just fill that spot when needed. But as soon as Alexander Kerfoot is back or Barry Hayton's back, I wouldn't be surprised to see him, either sit in the press box for a few games or go back down to Tucson because, that's kind of the caliber player that he's at. And so that was the only one that surprised me a little bit, but I think everything else made sense.
For the prospects that I think are going to factor in sooner than later, maybe not this year, but are going to factor in sooner than later on this, in the Mammoth pipeline, we were having the conversation about, like, how do you decide whether limited use at the NHL is better for your development or extensive use at the AHL level or something similar to that? And, I'm thinking of somebody like Daniil Boot in this conversation because it seems like he's kind of right on that bubble. TJ Ginla needs a little bit more time to incubate. He's like a baby, effectively. But how do you net out on that? A guy that can skate, 22 minutes in a lower level, 24 minutes in a lower level versus someone like, we'll use Agozzino as the example, who, you're going to give him 7 minutes to maybe 12 at the most at the NHL level. Where does the most development happen for these young guys?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head there. Something that maybe new hockey fans haven't quite realized yet is that the NHL is not the place to develop. And if you get caught too early in the NHL, it can really hurt you. And we've seen a lot of guys that were high picks that they started off in the NHL a lot earlier than they probably should have. And it really hurts them. It hurts their confidence. And, they can never quite get to that level that they thought that they would. And so with a guy like Daniil Boot, personally, I don't think that he's quite at that NHL level yet. His skating isn't quite there, and his decision-making isn't quite there either. And so if he can go down to Tucson and show that he is capable of playing in the NHL, and if he if he develops those areas of his game a little bit more, then I think we could see him by the end of the season in the NHL, kind of like Josh Jones last year. Like it was a case of, yeah, he could play in the NHL and he could probably get 10 or 15 goals. But if you want him to ever surpass that mark, then you got to give him time to develop and time to, become what he is capable of becoming. And so that's kind of where they're at with Daniil But. And I don't think there's any rush. They've got plenty of guys that can fill those roles for the time being. And when he's ready, he'll come up and he'll do a good job at it, I'm sure.
On the flip side of that coin, if Simashev is ready, the team decided he is ready for the NHL level, and he played 14-ish minutes last night. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, no, I thought he was really good. I wrote in my article that he was unnoticeable in the best way, and that's something that should be taken as a compliment for a young defenseman playing his first NHL game. That he was never in a position where you thought, oh man, that's a young kid, or oh, he doesn't have enough experience, or anything like that. Now they did shelter his minutes a lot. He didn't quite play against McKinnon or any of those guys, and he didn't play a second of special teams time. But that's right for a young defenseman like that. Like, you just got to ease him into the game. You can't quite throw him into the fire. Because like I said, if your confidence goes down, it's really hard to get it back up.
I probably beat this to death when we had our conversations during the last season, but it's just something that I don't know why it fascinates me. It does. Does this Mammoth squad need a second defenseman that is reliable on special teams the same way that Mikhail Sergachev is? Because he ends up with, last year, I think it was 25 minutes on average. And I know he likes that, and I know this team is like, hey, if he's healthy, he's good to go, and that's fine. There's always a sustainability question for me when it comes to overusing guys. And, when we're talking about a dude who's going to have to skate 25, 26 minutes a night for a team over 82 games, that can be a huge workload. Is that too much for Sergachev in the long run? And if so, do they need a second guy to be able to come in and maybe alleviate some of the need for his power play and shorthanded minutes?
Well, I think if somebody were to offer Bill Armstrong a second defenseman like that, he would pounce at the opportunity.
Sure.
Anybody would
Easier
take
said
a
than
second
done,
Mikhail
yeah, right?
Sergachev. Yeah. But I do think that John Marino is a little underrated on the defensive side. And I think that Sean Durzi is capable on the offensive side. And so if they do decide that cutting Sergachev's minutes is the best way to sustain his energy and his health and all that kind of stuff, then they do have those guys that they can turn to. And those guys, like John Marino, is a very well-established NHL defenseman, and he's played those PK roles for a long time, as is Sean Durzi on the offensive side. And so I do think that they have that there. But like you're kind of saying, like, if you have Mikhail Sergachev, it's like almost tempting to use him. Like, you have this superpower there, and you just want him to be on the ice at all times. But he's not capable of quite doing that, so you limit him to half the game. And even playing half the game, that's a ton of minutes. But it's this thing where you just gotta put him out there because he's so capable. And I think if they do decide that it's time to cut his minutes back just a little bit, then they do have those other guys sitting there. But like you said, I think they would take another guy if they had one. But these guys are capable the way they are, in my opinion.
Rogan Houston for another minute or two here talking Utah Mammoth hockey. They started off the season with a hotly contested 2-1 loss to the Colorado Avalanche, who are a really solid team. They're going to be a thorn in Utah's side for the next several years, in my opinion. The integration of somebody like J.J. Peterka, obviously a big offseason acquisition, and I thought a real coup for the front office here. One of the funny things, another quirk for the new NHL fans, like the run-up to the season is so ridiculously abbreviated, right? Like, training camp is so short, preseason so short, and it's just like, all right, just go out there and play some hockey. How do you integrate a guy like J.J. Peterka into the core? Because he's an important part of the core moving forward, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'll add to that as well that during training camp, Logan Cooley was injured most of the time, and that's the center that Peterka is playing on a line with. And so, yeah, like you said, like there's not that much time to get integrated. And I think that they did a good job at placing other players in Cooley's spot while he was out. And those players can hopefully play the same systems as those guys. And so then that way Peterka kind of gets a feel for the systems throughout the preseason and training camp. And he can, not skip a beat when he gets to the regular season and when he's playing with Cooley like he did last night. But I do think that there's probably at least a little bit of a learning curve, but these guys are elite players that learn quickly, I guess.
Next up will be tomorrow against Nashville. Is that a game that Utah wins?
I think that they really do have a really good chance. Nashville beat Columbus last night by the same score, 2-1. And an interesting thing with that is that Nashville is playing Brady Martin as their first center. And if you don't know who Brady Martin is, that's the guy that after the NHL draft combine this year, the scouting combine, I guess I should say, that's the guy that everybody was like, oh, Utah's going to go out and get this guy at the draft. They loved him. They ended up passing on him, and he went the next pick to Nashville, and he's already their starting center. And so, that's just something to watch out for. He's 18 years old. He's still not quite the size of an NHL player, but he plays that gritty game. And so that'll be a really interesting thing to watch for. But Nashville had a tough season last year. They came in way below expectations, and so they're really trying to prove that they are still that playoff caliber team and that they don't have to tear it down and do a rebuild. So don't expect them to be a bad team just because they were last year. They will put up a fight, but I do think that this is anybody's game tomorrow for sure.
Brogan, always great catching up with you. Thanks for the time today. We'll be calling a lot over the course of this season.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Thank you, guys.
Brogan Houston, Utah Mammoth insider over at the Des News. Great stuff from him. Look, the Avalanche have Stanley Cup aspirations. Not like you give it a free pass or you excuse a loss because that a team is so good, but I just think it's something that you can set your litmus test against somebody like Colorado. Dallas is good. Winnipeg, best regular season team in the league last year, obviously. And that's all just in your division. St. Louis with the late season surge to kind of steal everyone else's playoff hopes away. You're dealing with all of it. Another divisional matchup against Nashville tomorrow night for the Utah Mammoth as they figure out the new lines, the new lineups. All right, we're here with Advanced Window Products at the Advanced Window Products booth at the home show. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's going on down here in Sandy at Mountain America Expo Center. Nate Orchard, Jake Weber, the brains behind the operation at Advanced Window Products, have decided to offer you the best discount of the year in honor of Nate Orchard. He just can't stop living the glory days. The Hall of Famer for Utah football going in, being inducted this weekend as the single-season Sack King, the mayor of Sack Lake City, and that means $3,500 off 10 windows or more for you. Jake, was that your idea, or was that something Nate just came in and he's like, I'm going to the Hall of Fame, and we're going to celebrate it?
Doesn't that sound like Nate? Doesn't that sound like Nate? Yeah. No, yeah, if it were Nate's idea, it would be $8,000 off.
free for you. All right, let's talk about this process. We're at about 8 weeks right now. This is peak season, all right? I say I'm listening. I'm driving around. I'm listening to all 3 hours of the Sean O'Connell show because, of course, why wouldn't you?
Obviously.
Don't want to miss a single second. And I'm like, all right, my windows are old. I'm getting condensation between the panes. My energy costs are through the roof. I'm going to make this phone call. I pick up my phone, 801-850-9100. Who's on the other end? How does this process actually go, Jake? Walk me through.
Yeah, so if you call right now, you're going to get a hold of Rob. Rob will be on the other end, and he's going to just kind of ask a few questions of you, what you're looking for, what your issues are, and he's going to set up a time to come out to your house in the next day or two. He'll come out, and what our goal is when our team comes out, our factory reps come to your home, is like we don't want to be that high-pressure company that's there for 2.5, 3 hours doing this whole pitch, this whole spiel. Like Rob will come in, and it's like 45 minutes to an hour, very comfortable. He'll walk around your house with you find out what your needs are, identify any issues that you might have, like where your window's been compromised. If it's a seal failure, maybe you have moisture between the panes, or maybe it's like warping, or maybe they're old aluminum windows that you can't really open well. He'll point out all of these issues and then sit down with you and talk about your options and how we can resolve your problems. And the windows, whatever works best for you. Everything that we do is custom. So if you want a design, you want grids, to put whatever color you want, he'll design those, and then he's going to give you a price on the spot. And so you'll know as he's sitting there, you'll know how much it's going to cost, and you'll know all of your financing options. And so we don't leave, and then you're sitting there on the other end like, well, I'll hear back in like a week, I think. No, it's like everything, we want to be efficient, and we know that as a homeowner, you have a busy schedule. We want to be in and out and want to make this as easy as possible for you. So when he leaves, you'll have all your answers or questions answered, and then it's like, hey, it's up to you. Make the decision, whatever you want to do. If you want to move forward that day, great. If you want to move forward in a couple of weeks, whatever. But call today, and you're going to unlock $3,500 in savings. But you've got to call today.
801-850-9100. Get on the schedule today. You can work out exactly when the visit happens, when the bid comes in, and when you want to go ahead and sign and say, all right, I'm going to get these windows. But lock in the discount right now, 801-850-9100. I live in the Avenues, and that's a lot of the homes there were built before the builders were like, all right, we're doing all things to standard. All right, we're going to get these every windows, like these 10 different templates. There's the round ones. You got the shell-shaped ones.
Oh, yeah.
You guys don't mind. You'll take on any of those challenges, Nate.
We'll take on any of those challenges. Rob's right here in front of us, our rep that you'd be calling. But, when we come out to your home and you have those odd-shaped looking windows, don't let that discourage you, even just from giving us a call, right? Allow us to come out, inspect your home, do an audit of your current windows is what we like to do. But, we are fortunate, again, to be the manufacturer, to have the control and the capacity to be able to make, shapes with certain radiuses that may be complicated for other companies where they typically have to outsource that to manufacturers that are out east, right? Again, for us, it's all done in-house. We got a team dedicated to making these special radiuses, and we don't shy away from any type of shape.
801-850-9100. Get on the schedule today. It's the best discount of the year. It's the #1 factory direct replacement window available to you here in Utah, and it is warranted for the life of your home. They stand by the product. They stand by the installation. They stand by the service because they do it all themselves in-house right here in Salt Lake City. So you're supporting your local business, your local economy, and you're getting yourself the best possible product for the life of the home. For 10 years from now, for 15 years from now, for 20 years from now, they're still going to care about you, I promise. All right, got to take a quick one. The Daily Dump is next on the Sean O'Connell Show, ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Valley Plumbing and the Daily Dump helping us flush out the best stories of the day or worst stories of the day, depending on how you feel about it. BYU's got Arizona this week. Arizona, by the way, the weather in Arizona has been absolutely insane. Have you seen any of this, James? They had like 8 inches of rain or something crazy.
Wow, I did not see that. Lots of flooding down there, probably, huh?
Yeah, some crazy stuff's been going on.
I mean,
I don't know if we can still blame El Nino, but I think that's how you do it.
we do get sometimes in Arizona and at least in southern Utah, and sometimes it makes it way up here too. It's way up here too when there's lots of heavy rain, monsoon type thing happening there. We also get it here, so that actually kind of tracks given what weather we're expecting tomorrow and the rain we got overnight here too.
It's Hurricane Priscilla.
Oh, okay.
Hurricane Priscilla ravaging Arizona right now.
Dang.
1 to 3 inches of rain and potential thunderstorms expected.
Well,
Extreme conditions, lightning, all in the forecast.
Ugh.
It's a 5 p.m. Mountain Time kickoff. So this could be one of those games that starts and then the lightning rules. I understand why they exist, but golly, man.
it's rough.
It's so terrible. The clock resets every 15 minutes or 15 minutes after every strike.
It's a 30-minute, isn't it a 30-minute delay for every strike, after every strike that's within a certain amount of miles from the stadium? It kills the atmosphere in the stadium. It kills all the momentum of the game, especially if it happens in the middle of the game. It also, as a guy who produces college football every week here, it's terrible for us on the production side because we have to figure out how we're going to fill the time other than, broadcasters like Bill and Scott and Sly just talking a bunch. We have to figure out, okay, now we got to pivot and figure out some programming during these delays. Anyway, so fingers crossed you don't have any of that for this game. Now, and I gotta put my foot in my mouth a little bit. We never get hurricane weather when they get it in Arizona. So, prayers for everyone dealing with that in Arizona.
Low-lying areas and urban locations may see flooding. Never drive through flooded roads. Turn around, don't drown. That's the message from the Arizona Weather Service.
All the Cougs fans, make your way down there. Please heed that advice. Absolutely.
Crazy. All right. So before we get to any of the rest of the Daily Dump, I want to remind people that we have a PGA Tour leaderboard update coming. The Bay Current Classic. You gave us the leaderboard update yesterday. That's happening as we speak. Of course you knew that because the Ryder Cup is not signaling the end of the PGA Tour. Obvi. Pro V1s, Pro V1X from Titleist bring you more speed and control than ever before. They are available at Uinta Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. They're available right now. What's the Bay Current Classic situation there, James?
Max Gracerman is still your leader. He was tied for the lead yesterday when we gave this update after one round of play. He's still the leader after 2 rounds of play heading into the weekend at 12 under. Xander Schauffele is among the group tied for second at 8 under. There's a name you know. Let's see. Sahith Theegala, is among the handful of guys tied for 5th at 7 under. The rest of the top 10 here, we have the South African Garrick Higo tied for 9th at 6 under, and that rounds out your top 10. Tony Finau not competing in this one, at least not that I can see. So we don't have much of a local connection in this tournament, but a lot more well-known names at the top of the leaderboard today. OC, I know who Xander Schauffele is, but this guy Max Gracerman, maybe we need to get to know him because he's had back-to-back outstanding days. 8 under for the day today to get to 12 under, your leader heading into the weekend.
Thank you for the leaderboard update. Again,
I know everything about golf right now.
That's
That's because I'm so plugged in. I was able to do that. Yeah.
From Titleist, more speed and control than ever before. You know what? Before the end of this segment, we'll have to give away some more Adam Sandler tickets.
Ooh, yes. Sandman.
Why do we have so many tickets to give away? It's awesome.
We got a winner, and I'll say this: the answer was Haley Joel Osment. He was that might have been a little confusing. There were a handful of villains, but Haley Joel Osment's character was the main guy from that rival golf tour on Happy Gilmore 2, Maxi Golf, which was making fun of Live Golf. Anyway, it's Haley Joel Osment who plays that guy, the middling tour player that all of a sudden becomes a superstar because of some scientific stuff they're doing, some questionably ethical surgical stuff they're doing at Maxi Golf, right? To enhance these like average golfers and make them incredible. In the same way that Happy Gilmore was. But there's your answer. I will say PSA here. 2 people texted in the same time. One of them spelled his name right. So I gave it to the guy who spelled it right. Spelling matters. Wow. Spelling matters, kids.
Wow. That's a James Peterson decision. That's bonus points all over the place right there. Okay. So just Delta Center, October 26th. Adam Sandler coming. Tickets are on sale now. Another Adam Sandler trivia question. We'll do another Happy Gilmore trivia question as long as we're talking golf. So Ben Stiller makes a great cameo appearance in Happy Gilmore 1 as the abusive, nursing home guy, right? You're in my world now, Grandma.
So good.
877-353-0700. What is the name of that character? What is Ben Stiller's name?
Ooh.
What's on his name tag? And he's pointing at his chest. 877-353-0700 for Adam Sandler tickets. I'm going to this. I'm very excited to go see Adam Sandler. My wife is a huge Happy Madison Productions fan. Everything that Adam Sandler has put out.
She's in for it.
The Hotel Transylvania. We told you the insane numbers that those movies have done. I mean, truly, truly wild numbers. In terms of revenue, he's made over $1 billion off those 3 movies.
Just those movies, yeah.
Well, I don't know if he hasn't made over $1 billion,
but the company has,
over $1 billion of ticket sales, which is banana sandwich. But that's Adam Sandler tickets for you if you have the correct answer to those questions.
Ben Stiller, the name of Ben Stiller's character in both Happy Gilmores. By the way, love the way. I mean, impressive. 30 years later, basically. For Ben Stiller to completely nail the character in Happy Gilmore 2 again, too. So, in a different way, of course.
One of the great stories in the NFL right now is connected to a local high school product. Jackson Dart, in his 3rd start for the Giants, helped them beat the Philadelphia Eagles, defending Super Bowl champions, divisional rival.
Is that impressive, OC?
They're trying to change the narrative, and he did it after going into concussion protocol during the second half because, he got his bell rung, and now the NFL is like, wait, did they do that properly? Look, at the end of the day, he's fine. He was lucid and eloquent in his post-game conversation, but it looked like his head hurt. He took a hit in the 3rd quarter. He got sacked. And he came up like, oh, my gosh, my head, right? So they took him to the medical tent. They did the quick concussion protocol. And they determined that everything – I think there's a lot of places in sports where people try to fudge like, rub some tape or put some tape on it, rub some dirt on it, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, just put a Band-Aid on your head. You'll be fine.
I don't think in the NFL they're messing around with the concussions anymore. I really don't. No. I know that, they're still old school guys and they try to be tough about it, but the liability, the lawsuits, all of that, this has been a point of emphasis in the NFL now and was a major, major story in the media for such a long time that I just don't think that the Giants are going to risk what little positive momentum they've started to build by being like, never mind, don't do a real concussion evaluation on your rookie quarterback who looks like he's going to be the future of your franchise.
Who just beat the Super Bowl champs. I was jokingly saying, is that impressive? That's defending Super Bowl champs and still arguably the most talented roster in the league, although they're not playing that way the last couple weeks. impressive win. Hats off to Jackson Dart. We wish you would have stayed in state for college, but we still will claim you as the great Utahn you are in the NFL, especially the way you're playing.
He's playing incredibly well, and the Batman and Robin sort of situation going on with Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo, who had almost 100 yards in this game and ran for 3 touchdowns and is an absolute lunatic. I love it. It's not even Batman and Robin. It's like if Batman teamed up with Bane. Like Jackson Dart could be Batman, but
Scattabane.
Scattaboo is more like the Joker or Bane. He just wants to watch the world burn. He is an absolute psycho, and as much as he hurt Utah football last year, it's impossible not to root for that crazy person.
It is Scattaboo's month, right? Because October, Scattaboo, you know.
Okay, James. Why?
The time for a break? Did I just kill the segment?
We got to take a quick one here. Lee Sterling, the #1 handicapper in the business, joins us next. How we play in the games of the weekend, you'll find out in 3 minutes on the Sean O'Connell Show, ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Sean O'Connell Show coming at you from the Home Expo down at the Mountain America Expo Center. The home show is happening Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're at the Advanced Window Products booth. $3,500 off 10 windows or more if you get on the schedule right now at 801-850-9100. We're also joined now by my friend Lee Sterling, best handicapper in the business, to talk about how we're playing the games with this weekend's games. Cincinnati, UCF, Texas Tech, Kansas, BYU, Utah, NFL. We got it all with Lee Sterling. Lee, how are you?
I'm great. So I'm wondering, how are you after all that traveling? No jet lag at all coming back?
No, man, I'm all right. I'm lucky to get to do 2 dream jobs and for my folks here to stick with me as I have to travel and miss some of the shows. But we had a great night in Dubai. Before that, we had a great night in France. PFL continues to be fascinating. So 2 more events for the year, and then we're wrapping up. So it's all great, Lee.
I would feel the same way if I was you. And I only have jet lag, not coming back. I always have it going to Europe because they leave at night. So, I heard you have a hack on how to prevent jet lag. Is that true?
Well, I don't know if it's like unique to me, but if you work out right when you land, it helps.
Okay.
And if you drink so much water that you got to pee all the time, then you stay up. It forces you to stay up until nighttime in Europe, and then you reset your body clock as much as you possibly can.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try it next time this summer when I go away. So I'm ready. While you've been gone, things kind of status quo, but let's see if we can take it into overdrive. Okay.
Lee was 4-1 with the picks last week, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get into Cincinnati, UCF. Cincinnati, a 12-point favorite. And more importantly, the Bearcats appear to have announced themselves as a real squad to deal with in the Big 12 this year.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And it's a territory that you're not too familiar for this team, especially since Satterfield's taken over as head coach. They're going to face a Central Florida team. I don't know if Taven Jackson, their starting quarterback, is going to play. I would doubt it. And their backups, Cam Fancher, who came over from Marshall, as soon as he left, they got better. Ja'Cory Brown, who was at Miami, as soon as he left, they got better. These guys are like third and fourth. The backups, these are not guys you want playing on a consistent basis here. But Cincinnati trio receivers they got out of the portal are really good. The only thing I'm concerned with is they got a little conservative in the second half last week. If they keep the hammer down, I like them here. Sometimes you got to lay it if you want to play it. Blowout city, Cincy, 45-17.
All right, Bearcats continue the successful march. Texas Tech, 14.5-point favorites against Kansas. Red Raiders appear that they are on a plane of their own, on a level of their own right now in the Big 12 Conference. Hate the retro interlocking T rebrand that they just launched, by the way. That does not affect the betting line, but you got all this great stuff going and you simplify your logo, you make it less unique than it was before. Bad idea. Anyway, Texas Tech, Kansas, how do you see it?
Usually doesn't work out. I'm a fan of, especially in the NFL, these old school logos. But even you at this state could probably play linebacker for this team. Why? That defensive line is incredible. They found 4 winners. They get penetration. Their defensive lines, last 20, 25 years, have been horrendous. I mean, they get run on. They don't pressure the quarterback. The times have changed here. You saw them up close and personal in the Utah game. People did there. They're the real deal here. They're winning games by over 37 points per game here. And bottom line, Kansas gets some chunk plays, but their defense, they can't stop anyone. How good is the Tech defense? Well, they've allowed not 4.17 yards per carry, 4.17 yards per snap. Tech keeps moving on, 45-20.
The Aggies are in the islands. Utah State, Bronco Mendenhall and crew are headed to Hawaii this weekend. Late local kickoff, as is always the case when you're playing Hawaii time. And the Rainbow Warriors are 1.5-point favorites. The Aggies have performed pretty well against the same level of competition this year. I'm kind of surprised by the line, honestly.
Well, it's switched around. Now it looks like Bryson Barnes looked like he was listed as questionable, maybe trending towards doubtful early in the week. It looks like he will probably start this game, and I mean, he is really good. I mean, he's getting beat up. I mean, he's taking a pounding the way he runs the football with reckless abandon, but he's got good receivers, makes throws, makes every single throw there is. I like the play calling here. The only thing I don't like is the defense. Defensive secondary is not very good. So Hawaii, they got pasted last year in Logan 55-10, but that was the last time Braden Shager started a game for them. Since that time, Mike Alejado taking over here. He's put the run and shoot for this Hawaii team here. I know Utah State's 4-0 against the spread under Bronco Mendenhall. They covered 2 spreads, the mid-20s and mid-30s against Vandy and Texas A&M, and they beat UTEP and Air Force, but everyone's beaten those teams. I think this is a circle game for the Rainbows here. They were humiliated in some horrible weather here. Payback is you-know-what here. Hawaii 45, Utah State 42.
Ooh. Normally I agree with Lee. I don't like that one, but I won't pretend it's not because the game's personal. I got friends on that Utah State staff. Yeah. That's why. All right, BYU. There's a hurricane in Arizona. Those are words that I don't ever expect to be saying. There's crazy forecast. Cougs are 2.5-point favorites against a Wildcat team that, much like Cincinnati, is better than we thought they were going to be.
Yeah, and better at home. You know, if they were on the road, I would probably take BYU in this case, and I would lay up to, maybe double digits here. But at home, they just seem like they play at a different speed here. I love their running back, Ismail Mahdi. Came over from Texas State. He has almost 400 yards. He's averaging 6 yards a carry here. And remember, Cougars, they have the Utes on deck here. So BYU is allowed 24 points to a really bad West Virginia offense here. I'm a little concerned there, even though some of that came late. But I like Zona pull off the small upset here, 31-28.
Ooh, that would make things a lot more interesting for next week as well. If the teams came in with losses on the record, both of them at least, no wiggle room in the Big 12 title race if that's the case. BYU also, Jack Kelly, arguably their best defender, injured this week, so we'll see if he's able to go or not. That brings us to the game we all care about. Utah, 6-point favorites against an Arizona State team that I imagine this line has moved because of the question with Sam Levitt's availability. Where's the number at right now, and how do you see this game?
So it's moved up to 7.5 to 8 here, and Devin Dampier had a nice rebound game last week after throwing 2 picks in that loss to Texas Tech. Had 4 touchdowns, did have a pick at West Virginia before the bye, but I think he's straightened things out here, and Arizona State's defensive strength is getting to the quarterback and stopping the run. If Dampier can be clean here and they get the lead, I say look out here. Sometimes you got to lay it if you want to play it. Utes, 34-21.
All right, love to hear it from Lee Sterling. Game of the week, Chiefs-Lions. Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites after a big Jaguars win against the dynasty of modern-day NFL football. That's your game of the week, Lee.
Yeah, love this game. So if anyone wants to get it for free, just call 800-400-9741. Give them the game for free. 800-400-9741. This is one of the best. This could be a Super Bowl preview. So Chiefs-Lions, call that number 800-400-9741. We have another UFC card. One again hit our 50-unit max wager, a second-round knockout. Last weekend we have 6 selections, $36, ParamountSports.com. And how about this promotion? In the NFL 3 weeks ago, we had the 5 for 55. 5 selections, $55, win 5-0. 2 weeks ago, we did get a break in one of the games, had a field goal blocked, returned for a touchdown, helps us out to a 5-0. And last week, a wire-to-wire 5-0. We're 15-0 in the NFL the last 3 weeks. You want to try us out? If you've never been a client, 5 selections in the NFL, just $55, one place, ParamountSports.com.
Lee, you're the man. Appreciate your time, as always.
All right, buddy. Take care. Be safe.
That's Lee Sterling. He's the best in the business. Go visit ParamountSports.com. He likes the Utes this weekend. He likes Arizona to pull off the upset, and that would mean that BYU and Utah match up with one loss apiece in a desperation situation in the Holy War rivalry game. Yes, I'd be up for that. I hope Lee's right because of that. All right, Advanced Window Products is giving you the best discount offer of the year. It's $3,500 off 10 windows or more. Right now, because Nate Orchard is celebrating his own Hall of Fame induction into the Utah Athletics Hall of Fame. That's happening this weekend. Do you get like a red jacket or anything? You know, they do the Masters Green Jacket Championship. Do you get anything special?
So I've heard. Everyone keeps saying, is there a jacket or there is a jacket. We'll find out tonight. I'll let you know.
All right.
I'm hoping there's also like a VIP card or
a better
the
question.
VIP parking pass. I can park anywhere around the grounds.
A better question is, if there is a jacket, will you wear the jacket?
Yeah,
right.
On occasion, right? Maybe basketball game, football
right.
game, right?
All
I'll
right.
wear the jacket. Around the office, out to a job.
Anytime, Anytime Jake Weber is getting a little bit too big for his britches. It's like, I'm sorry, did you not know about this?
Oh, did you not see this jacket? Oh,
did you not see that up in the Hall of Fame?
If there is an option for a parking pass or the jacket, I'll take the parking pass. I'm just saying. I gotta, yeah.
He's a practical man, Nate Orchard.
And we know how parking is up there.
Exactly.
Always a nightmare.
Yeah.
All right, $3,500 off, 10 windows or more. Look. It's the windows are fantastic. The vinyl, the glass, you're staying on the cutting edge of everything. You've also got the doggy doors in the slide. It's not just like, hey, we can come replace your windows. It's you can improve the value of a home, but also the kind of usability, the livability of a home with these windows.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And look, we're here at the home show right now, and you walk around, there are a bunch of window companies. There are so many window companies out there. And honestly, as we're looking around, like, half of the companies that are here were not at the last show, and half of the companies that were at the last show are not here.
Yeah.
Window companies come and go. A lot of them are dealers. They come, they sell windows, they buy them from another manufacturer, they install them, and then they say deuces. And then your warranty is all of a sudden worthless. When you buy windows from Advanced Window Products, we've been around for 40 years. We're not going anywhere, and you're buying a window that is designed specifically for our climate here in Utah. So it is like the vinyl, the glass, the titanium oxide is designed for Utah. You like that? Huh?
Nate's laughing like he doesn't even know the terminology.
This guy, he doesn't know science.
He
knows numbers, not science.
He doesn't know window chemistry like I do.
No, but it is designed for our climate, from the extreme heat to the extreme cold. And you're getting a window that is made here locally. And so if something does go wrong, inevitably something over 20 years, you're going to have some issues. And you're going to call us, and we're going to answer it, and we're going to come take care of that. No questions asked. You can't always say that when you're buying from another dealer.
Well, you can't, and I've made it public many times on the show. Like, I've gone down the bad window service kind of road. It is a pain. It is terrible. It is not worth whatever you thought you saved on it, I promise. So go with the company that is going to warranty the windows and take care of you for the life of your home. And by the way, the company's been around for 40 years. These two gentlemen have not been around for 40 years. The integrity of this company is so strong that Nate and Jake took it over how long ago?
Coming up on 3 years.
Yeah, almost 3 years.
And still will make good on warranties that were offered by previous ownership, by Advanced Windows when you were not even responsible for Advanced Windows.
Nate was not born yet with some of these. I was in my very infant stages with some of these warranty claims that we see. And look, we take care of it. It would
be very easy for these two gentlemen to say, "Oh, sorry, new ownership, new management, same window company name, but it's not actually the same thing, so that contract, that warranty is no longer void." That's not how you do business, though. You take care of people, and obviously if you're one of the folks now who's looking at your home and you're saying, man, I really would like to increase my home value, the market in real estate world has come off of that like roller coaster a little bit, so people are realizing this is my most valuable asset. This is my largest store of wealth.
Invest in it.
I need to take care of this thing. I'm not going to sell it to try to cash in on some inflated price. I want to live here. I want to stay here. do yourself a favor and get yourself some new windows, improve your – we haven't even talked about the energy efficiency and how much you can save on your gas bill, how much you can save on your electrical bill in these crazy weather swings we've got in Utah, Nate.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, there is tremendous savings to be had there. But just think of your windows. They're huge openings in your home, right? Those openings, and they're all different sizes, and that's what makes us different from everybody else. It's custom window replacement, right? Every opening is custom, and so you put our high-performing window in there where you get rebates back from Enbridge and Rocky Mountain Power. Just putting money back in your pocket, and in the long run, the windows, I promise, will pay for themselves.
And put the extra $1,000 back in your pocket today by taking advantage of the best offer of the year, $3,500 off, 10 windows or more. Just get on the schedule today. If they come out, do the bid, do the measurement next week or the week after, that's fine, but get on the schedule today, 801-850-9100. Advanced Window Products, advancedwindows.com also. All right, we got Coordinator's Corner, Jason Beck next. We've got airing of grievances in our 1 o'clock hour. Stick with us on the Sean O'Connell Show, ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Time for Coordinator's Corner on the Sean O'Connell Show. This week we have the pleasure of talking with the offensive coordinator at the University of Utah, Jason Beck. Stops by ahead of Arizona State. Coach, how are things?
I'm doing good, Sean. How about you?
Doing all right. We haven't had a chance to recap West Virginia or the bye week or anything, so I guess we'll go in chronological order. If you can go back far enough, I know that it moves quickly in your profession, but how did you assess the West Virginia game for your team on the road?
Yeah, I thought we really came out, started fast, started strong, and played a good 4 quarters of football. So it was really good to see our guys execute and play well and had a really good result on the road.
This is something I asked Devin Dampier about. I'll ask you about it as well. You had, in that game in particular, one of the most impressive plays, really like a big boy red zone touchdown catch by J.J. Buchanan.
in what I thought was good coverage. He contested ball. He goes up, climbs a ladder, brings it down, controls it to the ground. And to see a freshman doing that, impressive, but also to know that your quarterback has the trust in your freshman, in a freshman target, to come down with a ball like that, I think really speaks to what JJ's done since he arrived, to the chemistry that's being developed between Devin and some of his targets. But that play specifically, just tell me how you evaluated it and what you saw.
Yeah, you're spot on. And that is something that JJ's done since he got here in fall camp. Like at some point early in fall camp, he made a catch like that. And we would continue to put him in those situations. And he's come through at a really high rate. He's big, he's long, and he's able to go up and make a strong catch on the ball. So when we have man coverage and we have an opportunity to target him on those fade balls, you're almost a little more surprised if he doesn't catch it than if he does. And so Devin saw the coverage in the matchup and went to it, and JJ had a great catch. I think he had a similar one at Wyoming for a touchdown. And so we want to continue to build on everything JJ's doing, but that is how he first made his mark here in the fall, and he's continued to come through on those matchups.
How do you personally and you as a staff make a determination about what position he really is in the offense? Because, if he's listed as a tight end, that changes some things, although, you've shown us that you're happy to play positionless football in your offense. But, he's got a big frame, he's got a big body. If he's going to be a quote-unquote traditional tight end, that it probably is going to require putting more weight on as his career progresses. But also, if he's just an elite wide receiver at that size, do you have to make him a tight end? How do you make that determination?
Yeah, you really love guys that are versatile. They're kind of the tweener guys. They're able to do multiple things. And so JJ totally has that ability to be half receiver, but also half tight end, especially as he continues to grow and get bigger and stronger, and use that versatility. We had a guy at Syracuse, Rondé Gatson, that was kind of that way, and he got drafted and playing for the Chargers right now. But he was very much that big receiver / athletic tight end, and you're able to move him all over to try to get matchups and play to those skills, and makes it hard on the defense because, what are they treating him as and trying to call it. And so we love that, to be able to flex him out, be able to bring him in and add him into the box to do stuff and just have that versatility.
In the West Virginia game, we kind of found out after the fact with Texas Tech that, Devin was less of a runner, or less capable of a runner because of a, little bump or a bruise than he was typically going to be against Tech, and then obviously against West Virginia. We didn't see him playing his elusive game quite as much, taking off and scrambling. We didn't see as many design runs for him. And I thought that, he performed well more inside the pocket, but you're the one who played the position yourself and has the seasoned eye there. How did that version of Devin, maybe a less mobile version of Devin, how was that to coach, and how did he perform?
Oh, Devin did really well, played a really good game with his decision-making and everything he was doing. Even at Tech, being a little limited, he still gives you plenty with, just all his decisions and extending plays and with what he needs to do. But no, Devin played really well, graded really well, made really good decisions. Had one ball kind of get away from him. We took a shot after a sudden change, and the ball kind of slipped out on him. And other than that, man, he played a really good game and made really good decisions, and just played at a really high level.
I'm glad you mentioned the interception because, we get so nitpicky on players, especially at the quarterback position, and you see an errant throw like that, and sometimes people want to make it into something more than what it is. To me, that looked like just like, oh, that ball got away from him. That's not a bad decision. He's going the right place with it. And it just wasn't the throw that he expected it to be, which, of course, you don't want to have happen multiple times in a game, or even multiple times really in a season. But is that all it was? Just like, oh, something happened when the ball came out of his hand, and like you said, it slipped out a little bit, and instead of going where he aimed for it to go, it just fell to the hands of a defender?
Correct. Yeah, we faked a little receiver, like running back perimeter screen, and then released the guys. And so as he pumped and reset and went to throw, the ball just kind of slipped on him a little and ended up really fluttering and went to the defender. So it was really unfortunate because we had guys open and we had a really good play happening, and just an unfortunate, the ball slipped out as he was going, and, the D was able to intercept it. And was really one of the few kind of negative things overall that happened on the day that our guys played really well. And so, but yeah, just an unfortunate deal at that time.
Coordinator's Corner here on the Sean O'Connell Show. Jason Beck, the play caller at the University of Utah, is our guest. So you come out of a really impressive performance against West Virginia for a bye week. And there's a lot of different ways a bye week can be handled on both sides of the ball. The bumps and bruises have accumulated a little bit. So how did you as a coaching staff go into the bye week, and what did you determine was the best course of action as you had an off weekend?
Yeah, there was kind of a couple things we really wanted to accomplish. One, to take advantage of the extra time in our preparation, in our plan, and for Arizona State. So to be really well prepared for those guys. The other side is we are a little banged up, and be able to get our guys back, healthy and as fresh as possible. So, yeah, that's kind of been the whole thing that we're still, working up until game time of this week. But we got a couple really good days of practice in with the guys last week, but we also were able to give them some days to get fresh, to get healthy, to get healed up, and we'll continue to do that this week. Prepare really, really hard and really well, but also have the guys as fresh as possible to be able to play fast and to get healed up.
How much variation is there in the duties of players during a bye week? Like, if you're an established starter and you need to heal up, I imagine the practice week was a little bit different for those guys than for the scout teamers, the red shirts, the walk-ons, if those even still exist in college football. Like the way it used to be is like that off week was almost like a secondary camp for the young guys, the developmental guys, while the starters get to rest a little bit more. Did you have some of those days where like young guys are practicing really hard, really physical, maybe even scrimmaging, and the older guys are maybe watching, helping coach it up?
Not to that extreme, more because I've been a part of that as well. When you're really working to develop your young guys, it's a little different now because like we talked about with JJ, there's several of your young guys who you used to kind of put through the ringer on these kind of weeks that are now every bit of what you're doing and developing.
Sure.
So we put all that work into getting everybody prepared, working on things, developing things, and guys that needed to be modified a little bit more to get as healthy as possible, do that. But you're at that, you're barely getting up to the half point of the season, so there's plenty to work on and plenty to prepare, that it was really working to get everybody better at what we're doing, and just doing it in a smart way that we're not wearing them down, and we're able to get them back fresh while we do that.
All right, let's turn the page and talk Arizona State. Huge opportunity for your team, huge opportunity in the Big 12 Conference that appears to be crazy, chaotic, deep, the kind of the way that we anticipated it to be. night game at Rice Eccles. We expect weather to at least be involved in some form or fashion. What are you seeing from this Arizona State defense on tape, and how do you attack them?
Yeah, they're a really good defense. They returned quite a few players from last year's team and the good year they had last year. Really stout and solid up front. Their linebackers are active and make quite a few plays for them and do really well. And their secondary, they have a couple transfers in the secondary and a couple returning starters there. And they're all, really capable, good players. So it's a really solid group. And we want to be focused on what we do really well and what attacks them, in that way. And so for us, our ability to run the football really effectively, to then set up kind of our play actions, our nakeds, and those things that give us a better chance in our pass game to hit those, 15-yard plays type of things. We've been really good throwing and catching kind of some of the underneath stuff, but that ability to, play action and hit 15, 20-yard, completions down the field, it's just a matter of getting all that put together, executed, and be able to play a really good football game against a really good opponent.
In that vein, Coach, the ability to take the top off of defense and to get a guy behind a defense, I think as observers, as fans, sometimes we boil it down too much and say, like, oh, you just got to have a better athlete. You got to have a guy with the speed to do it. There's more to getting open behind a safety. Can you articulate for me the true difficulty of those explosive plays, of those big chunk pass plays in particular? Because, yes, some of it is athlete versus athlete, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah, so, the starting point for every defense is, one, to stop the run, and then secondly, to protect the ball going down the field. The number one way teams are going to score points is running the ball really effective or throwing the ball down the field. So that's the starting point that they're defending and they're stopping. And so, in a certain world, you would just love to have a first-round draft pick receiver and just launch the ball past people. But I've been on very few of those teams, where I've had no first-round draft pick receivers to be able to do that. So it now becomes those matchups, leverage, being able to manipulate the defense to gain an advantage, to find, seams or space between the linebackers and the secondary, to be able to throw the ball in those spaces to get the desired results you want, which is some chunk plays. They don't have to be 50-yard plays. That'd be amazing. But, man, if we can hit a 15, 20, 30-yard play, man, that's awesome, because it just allows you to score points at a higher rate than just 4 or 5 yards at a time. And so that's what we are really, looking to do and to be able to put our players in those positions. And so, like, one of those that we talked about is, man, if we get J.J. pressed up, like at West Virginia, and we're able to throw him that big face, go up and make the catch throw, that's something J.J. does at a high level and we can do. But they're only going to press him so much, and give you that opportunity. So it's a matter of finding those matchups and those opportunities based off what the defense is doing and to manipulate it to get those kind of throws and catches.
At this point in the season where you've had Wayshawn kind of establish his quality, you've had Nakari, who is a guy well, establish himself even further, this time in a Utah uniform as somebody you can trust. How do you make the decision? How do you evaluate, splitting touches in the run game? And obviously with a healthier Devin is something that you can involve in the run game as well. So how do you make those evaluations now that we're reaching kind of the halfway point of the season with both guys having shown some good things?
Yeah, it's a good spot to be in because you trust both guys, and both guys are playing at a really high level. And our run game has been really efficient because of those two, running between the tackles. And with having two guys, it allows you to spread out those carries to a certain extent, so you're just not beating up on one of your guys. And so even at this point in the season, both those guys are banged up to a certain extent with how physical they run and with how much we run the football. So to be able to have that balance is really beneficial for the team. It is a deal where you do want to ride the hot hand. So if somebody's really running the ball well, great. Let's just keep them in there and let's feed it. But otherwise, both guys have earned that trust, and so they're both personneled in on certain groupings where they get their carries and touches, and the strength of our team right now is the old line and being able to run it with those two, like you said, with Dev and what he does, and then throw RPOs and play actions and stuff off of that.
Ahead of a game like this one, Coach, how much of a meteorologist are you? Do you pay attention to the forecast, and how much does a weather forecast affect your game plan if it's supposed to be stormy, rainy, maybe a little bit chilly on Saturday night?
You obviously are aware of it. You do things during the week to account for that. So, you do some stuff where you're getting the ball wet, so everybody throwing it and handling it and securing it, get practice in those conditions. For the most part, you don't have to alternate your game plan much because they're able to get, dry balls in and out and keep them protected. And it's not, it doesn't affect your game plan from that standpoint. As a quarterback, when it's a little rainy, that's not that much of a thing throwing the football. You're way more affected by like extreme wind than you are snow or rain. But occasionally you'll hit points in games where it's really a downpour, really kind of extreme circumstances, and then you do have to alter what you're doing. Because if they can't keep that ball dry to a certain point where the quarterback has a good grip, then you have to adjust. But with the normal, some rain, they're able to keep that thing just fine, and you don't have to change anything. The receivers, there are certain gloves that catch better if they're wet, as well as, just take the gloves off and catch with your hands. So you kind of make those adjustments if it's actively raining with those guys. But you got to be ready to adjust all that in real time during the course of the game and just prepare them through the course of the week. But for the most part, you don't have to change anything too drastically.
Coach, for all of us that are just observers, it feels like this season is flying by. It's gone so fast, almost the sixth game, obviously, coming up on Saturday, which is the halfway point of your regular season. You're spending hours and hours and hours, so it might be going a little bit slower for you, or it might be rushing even faster because you're so much in the thick of it. How is it this first season up on the hill felt for you?
It has flown by. I'm shocked. We're heading into Game 6 already. It feels like we're just getting, the beginning of the year still. And to that point, I can't believe it's October, and that I got here in December because, it has just flown by with how fast it's moving.
Did you get away from football at all during the bye week? Is that like you get to go see a movie for the first time during the season? Was there any of that for the coaching staff?
No, in fact, the bye week is a recruiting where you go out and see recruits.
Sure.
So you do a lot of your work during the week getting ready, then you go out and hit recruits. The biggest difference is usually, Sunday's an important day to get ready for that next week. So typically I'll come in the afternoon after church and we'll get together as a staff and do everything. So we had Sunday off, which was great. To have a little more time at home with the family, and so just kind of enjoyed General Conference and that on Sunday. Otherwise, keeps you busy like normal.
Our last thing before I let you go, it's official now. The transfer portal is one-time 2-week window in January. I think it's, the 2nd to the 16th or something like that. As a coach, what do you think of that?
I think that is better for everybody playing bowl games postseason, kind of recruiting planning. That does help simplify it. It does give you a quick turnaround. When that portal opens and you're sitting in January and school starting, to be able to put your roster together and do all that, it's going to be critical because you no longer have that spring option available to you. So I think it is smart. I think it is also good for you go through spring ball and then things change after that. That, to this point, it's been more negative than positive, for programs. So I think it's smart and good that it helps close that gap of things happening. So I think it's, it makes a lot of sense, and a lot of stuff has happened that's led everybody to come together and have this one portal window.
Coach, appreciate your time as always. Good luck on Saturday night. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, great to be on with you, Sean. Thanks.
Jason Beck, offensive coordinator at the University of Utah Coordinator's Corner, brought to you by America First Credit Union. All right, we're here at the Mountain America Expo Center. Home show's happening Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you're looking for some landscaping help, great, you can find what you need here. If maybe you need some concrete pavers, or you're like me and you have a retaining wall need, come on down. But most importantly, swing by the Advanced Window Products booth. You'll see the blue flags rising above all of the peasants around them. 801-850-9100. $3,500 off 10 windows or more. It is the best offer of the year. Nate Orchard, Jake Weber have been here with us all day, telling us about the product, telling us about the process, telling us about the great deal. And, of course, it's in honor of Nate Orchard, the mayor of Sac Lake City, being inducted into the Utah Athletics Hall of Fame this very weekend. We'll get an update next time we talk to Nate on whether he got special parking privileges for being a Hall of Famer or if he got a jacket that he will wear on rare occasion. Jake, Nate, you're giving us the best offer of the year, but beyond that, it's lifetime warranties, it's energy savings for your home. And I know that for the dads out there listening, probably you're worried about the bottom line and the numbers on this, but there's also the process that it really does modernize and beautify your home. It increases the value of your home because you've updated those windows.
Yeah, I think most homeowners, when they're looking to replace their windows, it's because they're tired of their high energy bills, or their windows aren't working. The security is compromised in the current windows. And so they're saying, hey, this is a functional, I need to replace my windows because of X. Once those windows go in, it's always shocking the way that it transforms the look of the home. And 99% of the homeowners that we talk to say, why did I wait so long? I should have done that sooner. And because they see what the price is and they see the way that it transforms the look of their home, the curb appeal, and then they see the monthly savings on those energy bills. Said, what was I thinking? Why was I waiting so long? Why did I drag my feet? And if that's you as a homeowner and you know that there might be a couple issues with your windows, just call. Just find out. Maybe it is. Maybe you don't need to replace your windows right now, but get an understanding of what maybe in 5 years, 10 years. And if you do need to replace your windows, call. You're going to unlock $3,500 in savings.
Well, and look, you're offering that savings if you get on the schedule today, 801-850-9100. But also, it is a big-ticket item. I mean, you're going to have to spend in order to beautify your home, in order to increase the energy efficiency of your home. And there are some people out there listening right now who are like, man, I really would like to take advantage of this. I can't write that check right now. You have financing options.
Yeah, the financing options, it's really for any budget. We have our most commonly used package is a 60-month no interest. We also have, say, a 12-month no payment, no interest. So you could get the windows installed today and not have to pay for those for 12 months. So you can save the money on those energy bills and put all those savings toward the windows. And Nate said it earlier, you essentially you end up paying for the windows just in your savings. And that's call today, and Rob will come out to your home and he'll be able to give you an idea of what those financing options are and how low that monthly payment really can be.
They're manufactured right here in Salt Lake City. They're installed by crews right here in Salt Lake City, and then the warranty coverage is people that work for Advanced Window Products right here in Salt Lake City. Standing behind this product and going through this process of learning how to improve it, how to improve not only the product itself, but the installation, the prices, the sales process, the attention to detail thing that we were kind of joking about earlier before. It's really something you guys have mastered.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the only way we do that is just by, listening to our customers, going to homes. I love going to the installs, visiting with homeowners, seeing their homes and understanding fully, from when the sales rep was there to, 8 weeks later and we go out to do the install, who these families are, right? What they're working towards, and how they want to transform their home for the betterment of themselves, their families, their guests that come through there. But, it can be a stressful process. And so with our installation crews, we want to make it as seamless as possible. That, I always harp on our guys to just leave it better than we found it, right? From the cleanliness to making sure that they're happy every step of the way. And then from there, it's just back again, like you said, the lifetime warranty. That's the game changer for us. If the latch isn't working, the operation is off, give us a call. It's a true lifetime warranty. You call us, you're going to get one of our live reps, right? You're not going to get directed to this person or that person. We really preach, being your one-stop shop and giving you and selling peace of mind at a price that can't be beat.
And if you're like me and you've done a home remodel and you've done the window replacement thing, I promise you that level of care and attention is worth it for you to go to a local company that actually has 40-plus years of a track record of success in caring for their customer. Call them today. Take advantage of the discount, 801-850-9100, $3,500 off, 10 windows or more. The airing of grievances, you guys have any grievances you need to air? We could keep you on to air grievances if you want. Think about it. We'll do it in 3 minutes on the Sean O'Connell Show. ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. 877-353-0700. That's the text line for you to air your grievances. You can also call. James will answer your phone call. What's bothering you? What do you need to get off your chest? Let us know. We'll send you into the weekend with a clear, I don't know if clear conscience is a way to put it, because it probably makes you feel guilty to have these grievances, but at least you're getting them out there. 877-353-0700. James, you want to go first? You want me to go first? How you want to roll it?
I've got one. It's a bit outdated, but it was during the ALDS, so it's still somewhat relevant, and it's going to be relevant throughout these playoffs. I have a grievance against starting pitching in the playoffs, specifically the fact that if they get to the third way through the third time through the order and someone gets a hit, we got to take them out. We got to take them out. They haven't. They've thrown a no-hitter. It's only the third hit they've given up today, and they haven't given up a run. But third time through the order, and someone got a hit. We better put in the bullpen, and then bullpen games. Like, we seriously can't have 4 guys who can give you 6 innings, at least 5 innings in the playoff game. We have to have a bullpen game where guys aren't going more than 2 innings each. Like, it's been a thing for now more than a decade. I know that it's not new. But I'm just tired of it. Why can't we have guys who start to get hit in the third time through the order, but the damage is still somewhat limited? Why can't we have those guys try to figure out a way to get through some adversity, man? Like, it's just like, I don't understand why we better pull them out. Their stuff's not there anymore. Like, give them a chance to figure it out. And if they give up a lot of runs, well, that sucks. I understand why. Well, we want to prevent that, but it's like your reliever may give up a few runs this inning. Maybe your starter could have gotten out of it. I don't like that we're not giving guys a chance anymore to get through some adversity in the biggest time of the year. Let's go.
Okay, all right. 7889 says, my biggest grievance is the weather Saturday night at Rice Eccles. Why? Look. It's football weather, baby. It's football season. The beauty of being a fan with tickets, right? You spend $5, you get a poncho that'll keep you dry. You already have the hoodies. You already have the jackets. You already have the galoshes to keep the feet from getting soaked. Just head out there and be part of a legendary game at Rice Eccles Stadium. If it's a downpour, if there's a little lightning delay, it's going to be a story for you and your kids, or you and your significant other, or you and your buddies to share forever and ever. All right? 877-353-0700. Air your grievances. 3869 grievance coming in from earlier. Early morning walkers and runners not wearing reflective or bright gear in the dark. That's a great grievance. It gets a little sinister, though, with the follow-up sentence. I will run you over if I can't see you. I have time. Okay, what? Whoa. Make yourself visible, though. Because there really is, like...
Don't actually run those people over. I hope that goes without saying.
When you're running in the dark, or you're running in inclement weather, or some combination of the two, where visibility is limited, you do have to take some personal responsibility there. Yes, drivers are supposed to be aware and get off your phone and make sure you're paying attention to the road and all that stuff. But also, put on some bright colors, and by all means, please, for the love, run so you're facing traffic. All right? So you can see the cars that are coming towards you. Please. 7946. Grievance against the Jordan School District for not letting me listen in class. All right. Yep. That's fine. That's it. I will echo that grievance.
Wait, is that our guy Cole? No, he's in.
It's got to be it's Cole. That's our guy Cole.
Is Riverton in the Jordan district?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it is.
We got a nice PA announcer.
All right.
Coming in our broadcast there. Love that.
This grievance. I'm running a risk here, James, because there's a lot of driving happening for the extended family right now. But I have to air the grievance because it's not just a cultural joke. It's not just a, hey, like, let's get a funny laugh out of this. There's a real reason why people tell you do not schedule your wedding for a fall Saturday. We want to be watching college football. And there's not like a time in the day where there's not a game on for us to watch, okay? I have to air a grievance. I love my sister-in-law. I love her husband. They're getting married tomorrow. They are wonderful human beings. I'm so happy that they found one another. I truly think it's a wonderful blessing for for my own children, for our extended family, that these two are getting married. But I have to air the grievance that they chose October 11th to get married, James. I have to air that grievance.
So
that is not Utah, Arizona State, and the family is BYU fans. So, I guess BYU Arizona on paper wasn't as sexy of a matchup. But please, what are we doing? At least find a bye week to schedule the wedding.
I mean, last week would have been great, although you would have missed it because you had.
But then I'm off
PFL.
the hook because I had to miss it. Then I had to.
Yeah.
Miss it. Although
unavoidable.
I
Sorry.
I do want to go. I really. They're
So
great people. They're wonderful humans.
Is this going to interrupt you get in the way of you being able to go to the game tomorrow night?
Well, usually I like to get to the game about an hour plus before kickoff.
Okay.
Go down, see the warm-ups, see how things are rolling, talk to whoever I can talk to, support staff. I don't interrupt the coaches or the players much, but, it's just kind of like I have my own game day routine.
Yeah.
I go up to the booth, I say hi to Bill and Scott and Alonzo.
Talk a little smack.
And the timeline on this bad boy, thankfully, it's a late kickoff.
Right.
For Ed Rice-Eccles, and the wedding, in order to take advantage of what we hope will be, knock on wood, some better weather earlier in the day. It's early in the day, but it's like I'm gonna get there as the game is kicking off instead of being there for my pregame routine, and so I have to air the grievance, James. It's irresponsible when you have sports people in the family. Grievance.
I mean, counterpoint. Is someone else's wedding all about you, OC?
Yes. Everything is all about me, James. Have you not how have you been working with me for more than a year now and not known this? It's
yeah, you know what?
And how it affects me. That's a silly question for
you know what? You know what? That does track as your boss, except for these 3 hours.
That's right.
That does track. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Never mind. I retract the question.
Also, another grievance, sports-related grievance. Grievance with the Colorado Avalanche, not just because they beat the Utah Mammoth in the season opener last night. Did you see what the Avalanche put out there on their Twitter account? The uniform release.
Yeah, is it? Are they Quebec City throwbacks? Is that what they are?
Yeah, they're Quebec Nordiques throwbacks. Now, Quebec City, it's been a serious pain point for Quebec City, which, by the way, is sneaky one of the most wonderful places I've ever been. It's a really, really cool spot to go. I recommend visiting. The food's excellent. The people are nice. It's a great place to visit. But it's been a major pain point for Quebec City that they lost their NHL franchise, right? And they've wanted to get it back. The numbers are not going to work. Population center's not big enough. The business, sponsorship opportunities. It's like a historic city. It's not getting another NHL team. This is just rubbing their faces in it. That, oh, look, Quebec, we stole your team here in Colorado. There's no connection between Denver and Quebec City except this team that Denver effectively stole from Quebec City. And they're just like, oh, then look what we've done with these throwback jerseys.
Yeah.
It's not cool, man. Like, when the University of Houston does the Oilers colors, that's cool, all right?
Especially because the Texans aren't allowed to wear them because the Oilers are technically the Titans, not the Texans, and the Titans actually do file real grievances against and take legal action, so to speak, to keep the Texans from wearing those. So yeah, the fact that the University of Houston is allowed to wear them is a great thing for the city of Houston.
So it's like an homage, right?
Yeah.
When you had the Oilers. If the Titans wear them, Just like, aha, see, guys, what we did here?
And they do.
Oilers throwbacks to rub it in your face that we stole your team. I don't
Yeah.
like that. All right?
It'd be like the Thunder wearing Sonic throwbacks. Like, we don't want that. We don't want that. And they haven't. And to their credit, they haven't done that. They are not tone deaf enough to do that.
The Utah Mammoth are not wearing Coyotes sweaters ever.
No.
Okay? It's not going to happen. It's legally it can't happen because they still own the Coyotes name down there in Phoenix. But like, you're not doing that. You're not rubbing the Phoenix's nose in the fact that they lost their team to you. You're not doing that. Okay? It's just not cool. So that's a grievance I have against the Colorado Avs. On behalf of Quebec City, I only know one person from there, but still, it's great.
And also on behalf of the Mammoth fan base, because they're our biggest hated rival. We hate the Avs and everything about them.
That's right. How dare you be from the same region as us geographically? 877-353-0700. Keep sending them in, your grievances on a Football Friday. We're at the home show at the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy, the old Southtown Expo Center. We got to check in with Advanced Window Products one more time, and we have to give away some more tickets. We already gave away Adam Sandler tickets today, 2 pairs of Adam Sandler tickets. We've got 2 tickets to Youngblood coming to the UCCU Center on May 13th. We'll give those away next on the Sean O'Connell Show, ESPN 700 and 92.1 FM. Closing it out on the Sean O'Connell Show. The Drive with Spence Checketts is up next. He'll be live at Smith's. I think it's the one up on 33rd, if I'm not mistaken. Smith's Marketplace up there at Canyon Rim. 2 tickets to Youngblood. Youngblood's coming to the UCCU Center on May 13th. You can answer this question at 877-353-0700. Utah football, they've had, they've been splitting the running back situation. You got a running quarterback. Who is the leading rusher for Utah football so far this season? 877-353-0700. Answer that correctly, and we will give you 2 tickets to Youngblood as the Utes get ready to take on Arizona State tomorrow night at Rice Eccles. An Arizona State team potentially without Sam Levitt. It sounds like they're going to be without him. One last time with our friends at Advanced Window Products. Biggest discount of the year, $3,500 off, 10 windows or more. Fellas, we're wrapping things up. 801-850-9100. Why do they need to call right now? Give me one more pitch on why they got to get the call in right this minute.
$3,500 off the purchase of 10 or more windows. Call right now, you're going to get that. Plus, we have the home show right now. We're 8 weeks out on our lead time. Beat the rush. We have this home show, and it gets extremely busy. This is where homeowners come to shop for all of their home improvements before winter hits. So beat that rush. Get the windows in before it gets too cold. And you're going to unlock $3,500 in savings.
And look, Nate, you guys mentioned it. You walked around. You saw there's a bunch of other window companies here. Why is Advanced Windows the best one?
Yeah, because we are here. We are your manufacturer, right? You have other people who are dealers for other companies that make the windows, but we, from start to finish, you'll work with us, right? You call us, you'll get our factory rep on the line. He'll schedule a date with you to be out within the next day or two. And then from there, your windows get measured, and they go through our manufacturing process to our installation crews, and then from there, backed by a lifetime warranty.
A lifetime warranty, the biggest discount of the year, an opportunity to see Nate Orchard on the same weekend that he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. All reasons for you to come down here to the booth, Advanced Window Products.
Hey, and if you're lucky, you get the Nate Orchard Hall of Fame special, maybe, just maybe, he'll sign the inside of your window. Just saying.
And then you got to leave it there.
And then you leave it, yeah.
And besides it, no Windex.
Then it voids your warranty.
No,
I want to see proof of the signature. Just kidding.
Give them a call right now, 801-850-9100. Get on the schedule. If you don't end up buying the windows till next week, if you don't end up getting the bid until next week, whatever, that's fine. Just get on the schedule right now. Take advantage of an extra $1,000 over the normal deal. It's $3,500 off today, right now, $3,500 off. 10 windows or more. 801-850-9100, advancedwindows.com. Thanks for having us down here at the home show, fellas. Thanks to all of you for listening. And stay tuned for the Drive with Spence Checketts. We'll see you at Rice Eccles tomorrow night on ESPN 700 and 92.1 FM.